Good morning and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us here this fine Saturday morning, July 26th, bright and early, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern for the Winner's Circle. It's myself and the Anarchy Queen, Miss Anika, here to review AEW Collision from July 19th, the Saturday after the Dynamite after All In. Collision after all, and let's call it that. And
Yeah.
then Dynamite from this last Wednesday, the 23rd of July. So, if you're here with us, we appreciate you choosing Workhorse Wrestling Network for any of your wrestling content or any reason you tune in to look at my lovely face or Miss Anika's lovely face first thing in the morning. Um, we appreciate you. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. It helps a lot. Hit the bell on the YouTube channel. That's the best way to make sure that you get notified every time we're about to put something up on the YouTube channel. If you're with us on Twitch, we appreciate you over there. Give us a follow over there. Unfortunately, we can't see your comments on Twitch, but if you want to come over to or in Restream, we can't see your Twitch comments. So if you come over to the YouTube channel, we can see your comments. If you want to chat in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us how your Saturday's going, what you got going on this weekend, anything you want to talk about wrestling-wise, AEW or the other company. Miss Anika still pays attention to them. So you're more than welcome to talk WWE as well, or anything else you like to talk about. So, how you doing this morning, Miss Anika?
Good, all things considered. Had a good night's sleep. I'm fine. I got the coffee on the side. I'm just trying to get this restream on my iPad, but besides that, I'm good.
How was your wedding? Or how was the wedding last weekend you attended?
It was nice. It was really nice. It was nice. It was nice to see the person I knew who was getting married, but it's also nice that the people who knew me as a child, they're like, "Oh my gosh, how are?" I'm like, "How are you?"
How are you?
No clue.
I haven't
No,
seen you in 25 years, 30 years.
listen, no clue who the people were. My memory of my childhood starts at 3, like vaguely
Oh,
3 or 4, and I'm like, I don't remember y'all. I don't remember y'all. But I'm
I
glad
guess
that
we're
y'all
wrong.
know me, huh?
Dolores says that we can't see the Twitch comments. So, okay, so by all means, let us, you're over on Twitch, by all means, comment. I didn't know that. Good morning, Dolores. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Please, if Dolores, plug your YouTube channel in the chat here. Go over and check out Dolores's YouTube channel. Just a pink girl living in a pink world. She does all sorts of stuff. She covers AEW wrestling, New Japan wrestling, WWE wrestling, Stardom, any wrestling, GCW, any wrestling you can think of. She's on top of it. She does arts and crafts. She does all sorts of stuff. Anything you can think of, she's got going on her channel. Um, so check it out. She plays lots of great games over there. So please go over and check out Dolores' channel when she plugs in her information here. So I guess without further ado, we might as well get to it, which is AEW Collision from last Saturday, July 19th.
Over there. Yeah.
Let's see. It was the first collision after All In. So as we talked about, All In tends to be kind of a reset of stories, and Collision, they do try to do some things where they keep some stuff. It feels like it's exclusively to Collision and exclusively to Dynamite, but that's kind of where their stories are kind of at home to a certain extent, and where you get the bulk of it.
Yes.
So this should be it. I mean, my um I had good feelings going into this. I was excited. That's the right word. I was trying to put my tongue on the
Yeah.
right word for this collision because again, it kind of gives you a little bit of a reset. So, um, it starts off with Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he is going to welcome in the last of his kind. I know Anika's not necessarily the biggest fan, but the last of his kind, the best in his family. That's my personal opinion. The current TNT champion and Ring of Honor Trios champion. Is that right? Tag
Yes.
team champion, Trios
Yeah.
champion.
He's
Um,
ROH Tag Team Champions and the freaking Trios Champions, and now he's freaking AEW TNA Champion. But by all means, keep going.
the incomparable Mr. Dustin Rhodes. So Dustin comes out for his in-ring celebration promo with Tony Schiavone. They have a little chat. He talks about how his dad always told him to keep it stepping, or keep stepping. Sorry, keep stepping. So, and it just means being persistent. Essentially, no matter how many times you get knocked down, you pick yourself back up and keep stepping. And that's a motto that he's been living his life by every single day, going on almost 4 generations now actively pro wrestling. And then cue the proto star and the slimiest man in AEW, Mr. Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher make their way down to the ring to try to sprinkle some negativity in Dustin Rhodes' celebration. Don says he's a great wrestler and a better man. But the high that he is chasing is still chasing being a champion, even though it's not the right champion, right? Like, I mean, it's whatever, and that he never really kind of reached that pinnacle and blah 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 blah. And it's only a matter of time until my guy Kyle Fletcher ends up taking that title from you. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Then they end up getting into a little bit of a squabble here. And
Scrabble up. Scrabble up.
squabble. And yeah, I think that was basically. I think it ended basically with the little squabble, and if I'm not mistaken, Dustin kind of clears the ring, and I think he stands. It's him in the ring at the end, if I remember correctly. Correct me
Yes.
if I'm wrong. But what did you think of Tony Schiavone and Dustin Rhodes' little segment here, and then Kyle Fletcher and the Don Callis view?
So, no matter what I feel about this situation, not the man, this situation, I do. It is paramount that what is the word? There we go. Stop. It is paramount that Dustin Rhodes is Collision. Like he is a Collision star. So I'm not mad at him starting this off. And even though I was very irate about the decision at All In for him to win another title when you're pushing 60, CM did provide a good insight that I cannot ignore. That if we're going to put the belt back on a new star, we need a transitional champion from Adam Cole. And right now, yes, that transitional champion, it's okay for it to be Dustin Rhodes. So that being said, I'm okay with the plan. I still think you could have found someone else, but I'm okay with the plan. This was good. Listen, it's crazy to say, right? Because yes, I don't think you should be putting belts on this person, but he's still good. That's the problem, right? He's still so freaking good. So his mic, I said, because his mic skills were wonderful here, and I love the line where he was like, "Look, you just couldn't get it done. I worked 3 times this weekend, and you only worked once. And the fact of the matter is, you couldn't get the job done." It's like, dang, that is facts though. That is, even though we know it's predetermined, that is facts though. Like, bro, this dude old as hell. And he did 3 matches and he still beat you. I would feel some type of way. But this was good. This was good. Like knowing the future, and the future is inevitably that Cal Fletcher will win the belt. This is a good start to that feud. So I'm not mad at it. It was a fine segment. It was cool. All right. And so next up, I believe our wise man is doing something right now, but never fear. This is why we have 2 people here. Oh, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, I said yeah, fine segment, a very good start to what we know is going to be the inevitable. So I'm fine with it. Nothing wrong about this segment. No.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, like we talked about at all, regarding All In, it felt like there was definitely, the Adam Cole, promo and having to vacate the title essentially brought the energy way down. And I think, being in Texas and all things considered of all the men in the ring at the moment and the people that had the opportunity to win the belt after he vacated it in that moment, I think Dustin was the best feel good option. And again, maybe that necessarily isn't the best option for AEW or the title in the long run. But again, like you said, he's going to be a short transitional champion. So it's not, I don't think it harms anybody too much. And, again, as a Dustin Rhodes fan, better late than never to a certain extent. I feel like he kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Goldust was, a major star in WWE, and he's gotten plenty of time on camera to do his thing. And at the same time, I do feel like he's been kind of underrated, and overshadowed and overlooked a little bit between Dusty and Cody, and I agree with CM, and I agree with other people. I think he's the best of the lot. So, I in that regard, I'm happy. Whether even if it's at 55 years old, that eventually, a guy like Tony Khan has come along and been able to actually understand or agrees with kind of my assessment of Dustin Rhodes and other people's assessment, and has given him the opportunity to shine. So, yeah, I get it. I mean, I have been critical in the past of recycling people and people staying too long and all those things, but I think it's different when it's a person that I feel like has poured their heart and soul into wrestling, and it's taken them that long to be able to really achieve kind of what I thought they should have achieved a long time ago. So in that regard, I'm not mad at it. If Dustin Rhodes was 7-time WWE World Champion and he was already 3-time TNT Champion and been AEW World, then it'd be a totally different situation. It's like, come on, the dude's like, but I mean, this is the first time for him in many regards, as far as on a big stage, winning major titles like that. So in that regard, again, better late than never, and I'm just glad to see that he's getting his flowers at this point. So, yeah, and I thought the segment was fine. So, Chris Statlander and Willow, little video package. Um, Man, I guess these two, sometimes I'm so hot and cold with AEW because I feel like there are times where it's like this is so good, and other times where it's like what are we continuing to do? Like, don't get me wrong, I think Stat and Willow have good chemistry, but we've been there and done that. It feels like these two have been circling each other now for 3 years. I mean, you have nothing better to do than to come up to, well, we'll just put them back together again. Let's just make them fight again. Like, it's here we are again. So, anything you want to say about Willow and Stat?
I echo the same sentiment. For the people talking about the see, and this is why when people say stuff, they don't be thinking. Talk about the Moxley Vortex. Hey, the Moxley Vortex got Willow into got into one of the biggest freaking matches in freaking with the Revolution or when was Double or Nothing Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, Double or Nothing. I think. Yeah, Double or Nothing.
Yeah, so that got Willow and Anarchy in a freaking arena and a freaking and one of the main stars and one of the main and be one of the main stars, one of the biggest feuds. And after the vortex and after the vortex, where is she now? So please let's not stop trying to compare other people to other people, because I want to be in the Moxley vortex and be in the main event than doing the same thing every other freaking week, because you don't know what the freak you don't know what the freak to do with me, basically. Like you said, yes, some people are fight forever people, but it's one thing where it's just they're too good and we want to see more. It's another thing where it's an excuse and you just not doing your due diligence to do more for these people. And that's where we're at with Statlander and Willow. Like I'm not gonna withdraw hope, but it really does seem like y'all really aren't gonna do anything with her. Like you really not gonna give her a title reign that matters. And that is infuriating because she's so freaking good. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, it's interesting. I mean, you start to see kind of patterns of where you think, bookers start to see people, and as much as we see, I think Willow should be right at the very top of the main event. Clearly, that's not kind of where Tony sees her a little bit, and it's disheartening. I mean, that's a disconnect that we have with a lot of people and a lot of and unfortunately, not that she's not getting enough, or not that it's not enough. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not that she's not getting TV time, it's just not enough creativity given to her. It's not enough backing. It's not enough support. It's not, she gets TV time, and they give her time to look good here and there, but it's like it's not enough.
She's an
So
extra
I
body.
guess,
Like,
yeah,
there's no actual focus. She's an extra body to get pinned or do a rivalry when
yeah.
you don't have anyone else.
Yeah, and it's starting to feel that way with Statlander too. At different times, they seem to have had things for her where it felt like they were kind of giving her storylines, and then they just kind of revert back to this kind of same old thing. And she's, yeah, like neither. I mean, we don't have anything to do for these two. We'll just put them back together in a fight. So, all right. First
Exactly.
match, Ricochet and Fox. What'd you think? What you want to say?
So we're doing the the Lucha Underground watch along every once a month. So happy to, we're not there when we saw where AR Fox is in there yet. I'm very anxious. Like, come on, when we get there. But these two have wrestled together. They have great chemistry. The match makes sense because it's like, yeah, we were in a tag team, and you did leave me hanging out to dry. So yeah, I'm glad that AR Fox didn't forget that, right? And like I said, good chemistry in the ring. This was very much so fun. AR Fox, I want more for him. Doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. More so with Ricochet, right? When he did the heel turn, we all had high hopes, like, oh gosh, this is so good. When is he gonna beat someone for a title? And then now it's like he's kind of floating by, and we don't know what to do with him either. And I don't mean that for Ricochet. Like AR Fox, we kind of come to terms with, okay, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna have a good storyline unless someone is gonna be intentional with it. But Ricochet is like, hold up, wait. We all thought this was gonna go a different way. What happened? What happened? It was him versus with the Hearst and the Kid. We kind of dropped that. Him and Swerve, we dropped that, and now we're just letting him float by. And it's like, no, he shouldn't be a floater. He shouldn't be a floater. Hopefully, now that he's with the Gates of Agony, with the Gates of Agony, we get more from him. Like, hopefully they'll give him an actual rivalry, a storyline that matters. But yeah, it's like, hold on, wait. We actually like Ricochet. Let's put some focus back on him instead of let him just float from person to person because we don't have nothing for him.
Well, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I thought the match itself was good. You got two guys that can really wrestle. AR Fox never disappoints. It feels like Tony says, okay, we need to have an entertaining match. Let's give Fox in the ring. So he's one of those guys that can really go in the ring, and so can whatchamacallit, Ricochet. So yeah, I mean the character work and stuff. I'm confused with both of them, honestly, because I think AR Fox, like you said, does deserve more. It feels like he's allowed to look really good, but then takes the loss, which to me seems kind of okay. If he's so good, why does he lose every time? So,
Yeah.
I guess it is what it is to a certain extent. Clearly, like you said, we can see it, you can see the pattern, like I talked about, of booking of people, and it's clear AR Fox is probably never going to advance beyond that point, which is really unfortunate. I mean, he's getting TV time, and that's fine. He's getting a little bit more TV time than he did before. He doesn't feel like he's solely just a Ring of Honor guy like he was, it felt like, or just a backstage production choreographed guy, because he does a lot of backstage work too, or a trainer, so he's actually on TV, but the losses are still don't feel great for a guy like AR Fox and Ricochet. Yeah, I mean, when they brought him over from, WWE, it was like, okay, we're going to show you what we can do with Ricochet, and they turned him heel, and then they had the whole Hurt Syndicate thing, which was what it was, and then they never let that come to any kind of fruition, and then the Swerve stuff they just kind of dropped, and now it feels like he's kind of back. I mean, he has the Gates of Agony after the longest agonizing worst storytelling of trying to pick partners, and that 2 months where he was trying to, like, oh, are you going to do it? Nah. Psych. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? And so now he's with the Gates of Agony, which is good for the Gates of Agony. I think they get the rub from being with Ricochet because Ricochet gets a lot of TV time,
That
getting to
reveal was
see
the
more of
best
them.
part.
Yeah. getting to see them more, which is great because
I
I've
love them.
wanted more for them, so that feels good. Um, but yeah, I mean, what exactly are we actually doing with Ricochet? I mean, like you said, maybe now that he's you know got his little faction or his backup, maybe we'll see him be interjected back into the main event picture at some point here. But yeah, right now it's very weird to just be kind of like you said, floating in, I guess, feuding with AR Fox. I mean, I understand like they were tag team partners and he, you know, turned his back or left him high and dry and, talked about, do you want to be in the with me? And he with AR Fox is kind of like, yeah, and then kind of whatever site situation, or however you want to put it, not, and then Rick, but it's like that's not a good Ricochet versus AR Fox. As much as I love AR Fox, it's not where Ricochet wants to be booked, I'm sure, nor is it where we thought Ricochet would be booked based upon how it looked like it was going in the beginning. So, in that regard, it's definitely a little odd. Um, but again, the match itself was great. I mean, the two men can really wrestle. Is it me or is the spirit gun not essentially just kind of a modified hidden blade, right? Like, especially when he hits it from the back, it looks exactly like a hidden blade.
I don't
When he
know.
does it from the front and it looks more like like a clothesline, that's one thing. But like on the back, it looks a lot like a hidden blade.
Why are we still calling it the spirit gun? That is probably
Hold
the
on for
worst.
one sec.
That's probably the worst freaking name for a finisher I've ever heard in my life. If the Spirit Squad wasn't using the Spirit Gun, why is Ricochet using the Spirit Gun? We could call it so many other freaking things. But no, I definitely agree with you that it's a version of the Hidden Blade, basically. Instead of a direct going across someone's back, you're using your elbow and like it's like it's not bad, but it's very much so similar to other it's very much so similar to other moves. So I do think he needs another finisher. Like I'm not saying get rid of it, but definitely have another one, please and thank you. But focusing on this match was so good, and these people know each other so well. Like I'm watching it right now, just because, just just the reference, and the whole inside the ring, outside the ring to do a swanton bomb. Like how old is AR Fox? Because he's floating outside the ring like he's still a young buck, even though he doesn't look. Yeah, and yeah, let me tell you something, young blood. I think that's what Jimmy said he looks like, and that is indeed true. But yeah, doing a 450, he missed that unfortunately. Spirit gun, again, it's a fine move, but we can do better. Like it's a great match, and like that's what's frustrating is these people can wrestle, and we just want more. Can you just give us more of these guys in a great light, not just oh we need bodies. You're gonna wrestle tonight, please and thank you. But yeah,
Let's see. Hangman, we get a video package of Hangman beating John Moxley at All In, and then some of the fallout on the following
just
Dynamite, just to keep the story fresh in everybody's mind because this is the AEW title story at the moment. So, what do you think of this video package?
very much so high. Like I love because like All In is your biggest what you call it is your biggest show. So you should show highlights of what happened because let's not let's not believe that everyone saw it. So I definitely love it. Like just in case, and just in case you haven't seen Dynamite for whatever reason, this is what happened. It was awesome. It's like Darby's back, thank God. And look at this party started. Yeah. So I loved it. It was good.
And then, not surprisingly, because they're kind of
Woo,
everywhere,
woo.
but making an appearance on Collision are the Death Riders and John Moxley, who is unhappy. And for whatever reason, they decided to take out all that anger on poor little Colt Cabana. This dude is a punching bag for all sorts of people. Like CM Punk beat him up at the All In at Brawl or at the All In post scrum and for no reason. And now here comes Death Riders for no. I mean, they hung this dude up by the chain, or Moxley chained him up like Hangman Page chained him up and hung him over the top rope and choked him out. I feel bad for Colt Cabana.
Listen,
But nonetheless, the Death Riders come on to the scene, beat up Colt Cabana, hang him over the rope, do him like Hangman did him. And yeah, what do you think of this little
listen.
Death Riders appearance on
Colt
Collision?
Cabana needs to pick better friends. We're doing this because we all know that Coco Cabana and Hangman are good friends. And hey, someone had to get their behinds whooped because Moxley's pissed. And this is and evidently because we're in Chicago and you want to be on commentary. We haven't seen you in so long. This is what happens. You want to be on commentary because we're in Chicago and you're Hangman's friend, so you had to get your hind whooped, and that's what happened. So now, granted, I understand. If I get hanged, I don't care if it's called a death match. Hey, it's a title. I don't think death is supposed to be a part of the match. So yes, if I get hanged, I would be pissed too. Now, would I actually try to unalive someone else? No, I would not. But I understand why Moxley was mad. So it wasn't like they kept it for a long period of time. But the frustration was there. And I understand. But yeah, it was like out of nowhere. And I'm not gonna say I loved it, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining to me. Like, what the hell, bro? Dad got it. Yeah.
Slightly serious note. I do, I watch GCW and I watch independent wrestling and I when I feel like when the audience is small and knows what it is because they're diehards, there's certain things you can do when it's on. And to be fair, this is a that was a pay-per-view. This is not. I mean, this is a Collision on a Saturday night. When it's a major mainstream platform that anybody can watch, whether you've seen wrestling before or not. And this is one of the two things that you might check out if it's not WWE to see, hey, maybe I might like wrestling.
Yeah.
Or you have kids watching it like kids love to watch wrestling. Is seeing someone get hung by a chain over the top rope too much? I mean, is it too graphic? Is it? I don't know. That line is there, right? I mean, you walk that line, and I just.
So here's the thing, right? I'm going to check real quick. Wait. I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to see the ratings for the show, and if the rating isn't PG, I don't think this is PG. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think this is a PG. I don't think this is a PG rated show. So for that, I know we tell the parents to do their due diligence. I know parents are tired, but sometimes you do have to do your due diligence and monitor what your kids are watching. So if it's not PG and this is AEW, they have never shied from blood. So I don't. What's the word? Granted, yes, this isn't a pay-per-view. They have done blood and guts on regular television. So if it's just me, I'm not letting my kids watch this by themselves. That's just me, right? And yeah, it is graphic, but again, you have to just like that's a parenting thing. You just have to you have to monitor what your kids are watching, especially in AEW. They don't really shy away from the blood. Like they had when Moxley got his back scratched with Spike, that was on Dynamite. So yeah, you just have to pay attention to your kids. But I don't think too much of that besides, far away from that.
Sure. Let's see. All right. We've got more Chris Statlander and Willow stuff. That says she's ready to face Willow. This is a little backstage live segment because she's a wrestler. And Wheeler Yuta walks through the shot, like half walks through the shot and stops and turns and tells her champions bounce back and then walks out. We say Wheeler Yuta, you should call him Cousin It. That hair drives me fucking nuts. It's down to like his nose, dude. It's way over his eyes. It's like blending into like his mustache at this point.
I don't think you call it a bang anymore, honestly.
No, it's not. This shit is insane. I don't even know where his eyes are anymore. But nonetheless, Stat does not look happy by Wheeler's little comment. What did you think about this little interaction here and more Willow Stat stuff? If you want to say anything more.
Who's the little blonde person who keeps interviewing her in these interviews? I know she used to be a former minion, but I don't know her name.
Lexi Nair, isn't it Lexi Nair?
Lexi Nair. She's a little gas. Excuse me. She a little gaslight, little heifer. Because no. I am Team Willow all the way, but I do understand where Willow's coming from, because we're talking about the whole the 4-way for the money match on Dynamite, and they're like, Statlander, why did you get rid of the ref when Willow was pinned? I'm like, he's like, I was in the match. This is for money. I was trying to win the match, so I don't understand this. Why are you asking me these dumb behind questions of why I stopped the match? Because I wanted to win the match, you crackhead. Emotionally, he's like, whether like I get if me and Willow had a thing where if I win, you win, we split the money, but I'm pretty sure it didn't have that, so I don't understand this question. So yeah, like stop being gaslighting. You the dumb behind questions. Either way, I love, but even with Statlander making sense, I love that she protect Lexi when the Death Riders came through, and they're not. I like these segments where Yuta isn't like, they're not recruiting her, they're just influencing her, and because after what Yuta said, it's a tough week, but champions bounce back, and Chris was like, I'm gonna bounce back. And so it's like, yeah, I like keep it right here. Like, don't let her join the Death Riders, but just keep it right here where she just takes her influence. And I like that. I just like just do that for right now. And I love that. And I love Marina hemming him up. Like, let's keep going. What's wrong with you? Like why are you stopping talking? Like, come on, let's go. So I did like that. Again, them behind interview, but yes, it was a fine segment.
Our second match of the night, Megan Bain versus Ty Mello, who's recently returned. Megan Bain got the win a little under 10 minutes after, Time Mello had a decent showing, more than I thought she should have had against someone like Megan Bain. But Bain did. It was like finally Bain got tired of kind of like playing with her food a little bit and was like, okay, I'm done. Let's finish this, which is how it felt when she decided to kind of not engage, but just, like I said, stop playing around a little bit. I'm not a big Time Mello fan. And I'm not really I'm not sure that I see maybe what Tony sees or other people see that like her and think she has, a lot of high ceiling. So in that regard, I'm not super excited about her getting 10 minutes and looking strong against a monster like Megan Bain, who I assume is definitely in the cards to have a big run at some point here and be a big deal in the women's division at some point, and
Yeah.
and it feels like not only size wise, but just the way that they present them. Like Megan Bain should be running through Ty Mello. No disrespect to Ty Mello, but she should be running through her at this point, and she just didn't. At the same time, she did win, and she did survive a pretty big comeback flurry from Ty Mello, which I guess does look somewhat good. And then, like I said, stop playing with her food and basically finished it, quickly, which, is how it should be. So I don't know. If she's going to beat up Anna Jay next, I'm sure, Megan Bain. I don't know exactly what this does for her. Honestly, like I assume she should beat up Ty Mello. I assume she should beat up Anna Jay. Like she needs to be in there with women where it doesn't feel predictable beyond just, oh, how are they going to try to do this for booking story wise, right? Like as
Yeah.
opposed to like real competition wise, because for me neither of these women feel like real competition for Megan Bain when it comes to being in the ring. So obviously it's not about just size and strength and all those things. There's all sorts of things that play into a fight and all those kinds of things, but it just feels very one-sided, and yet it hasn't which doesn't, I don't think, feel does a whole lot for Megan Bain, especially if they're not going to do it that way. So, what do you think of this?
Great match. I get why they let Ty Mello feel stronger. It's because more like it's probably the most significant feud that Megan Bain had besides uh against Tony Storm. So I get why they like, so I get not wanting to, make Ty Mello look weak per se. But either way, I do kind of agree with you. Like at some point in time, she shouldn't look that like the mechanics of a match is very hard to grasp. Where it's like you don't want both to look weak, but it's like some things are just obvious, and we all know that you are a. It doesn't make sense. For I'm a big guy, you small. I don't beat you that fast. But yeah, but no, I totally get it. I'm not mad at it because, like I said, this actually is the only decent rivalry Megan Bain had besides Tony Storm. I don't know what they're going to do with her next. Like, it seems like they actually care about her, where she has not lost a lot, which is good for, especially for a newbie. Where it's like, okay, we have something for you, just a matter of when we're going to pull the trigger on you. I guess that's the question. Like, because right now Tony Storm is the champion. That her next opponent is theoretically Athena, and I'm not sure how this works about. So it really is like, what do we do with her until we're going to fully pull the trigger? I don't see her beating Mercedes, crazy enough, for the TBS title. So it really is like just putting the things in place to when you're finally ready for her to be your face of the women's division, how it's going to look. But that she's still winning. So there's no actual, like, unlike Stat and Chris, I can see them pulling the trigger at any time in the near future. So I'm not too worried about it. So it was good.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what they ultimately do with her. I mean, she needs to work on the personality. I'm trying to think. I can't even remember the last time I heard her talk, or if we've even heard her talk. If we
Well,
have heard her talk, it wasn't memorable.
Yeah, Penelope Ford is usually
Her voice,
her
her
manager, her
mouthpiece.
controller. I think the only thing she done is like, eventually all of them will bow down, and that's usually the only thing she says. Because like she's like, it's again, this is what happens when you pick a character called the goddess. I'm not supposed to talk. I'm supposed to just reign and terrorize, blah 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 blah. And so yeah, like, I don't need her to talk, but I do need her to have a good manager to talk for her. And Penelope is fine, but I never picture her as being a great manager if we're going to post Megan Bain as this basically a female Brock Lesnar, so to speak. Like, she needs
Listen,
a Paul Heyman.
if you're going to give somebody a manager, that manager is supposed to be someone that the reason they're a manager is because they have personality and they can talk and they can't wrestle.
Larger than life.
That tends to be the reason, and that's not what's going on with Anna Jay. I mean, with Penelope Ford. Not that Penelope Ford is a great wrestler, but she's also not a great promo, and she doesn't have a ton of personality. So it's not like that's where she really thrives, and so she's benefiting a ton from it. She just talks a little bit better than Megan Bain, right? Or at least we think so because we haven't heard Megan Bain say anything yet. I mean, I'd be very interested to see Megan Bain actually give like a real promo, and then let me decide if I'd rather have her talk or Penelope Ford, because I'm not a big Penelope Ford fan. So, again, a Stokely Hathaway, an MVP, you want to use one of, not that they're not already doing something, but I'm saying someone that actually, not that MVP can't wrestle, but someone that,
yes.
right, then that's fine. But, Penelope Ford just doesn't, it doesn't. She's been underwhelming as a star, and I don't find her anymore, any less underwhelming as a mouthpiece or a manager or a hype person for Megan Bain. So, but I guess we'll end up seeing what ends up happening. Skyflight is looking for a fight. Don Callis comes in. Christopher Daniels says they're not looking for management, but rather competition anytime. What's your feelings on Skyflight?
So it's still new. It is still fresh. So we're still trying to get we're still trying to get what's the word? The manual on how we want to present them, right? Like how, like, it seems like a version of Diamond Mine, which I'm all here for, where Christopher Daniels is just a trainer and they're trying to train up and coming. But as good as a team is, either you need personality or you need a rival. You need a rivalry, right? Them versus the Callis family, I don't see how that's going to help them, because the Callis family are right now, they're souped up. Like, they need a baby rivalry before they go against the Callis family to get their whole, like, until they're a complete team and I see the full picture and all gears are reeling. It's like, let's not let them go against the Callis family just yet, because they're going to get steamrolled in to say it in no other way. But like, this was fine. This was fine.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm 100% ecstatic to see Scorpio Sky back on my television. I love
Yes.
Scorpio Sky. I'm happy to see Christopher Daniels back on TV. But let's be clear on what Christopher Daniels is at this point. He's not going to wrestle. He's not going to do any of that stuff. Scorpio Sky, although he is amazing at what he does, has less years in front of him than he does behind him. So, in those regards, like you said, it has a diamond mine kind of feel to it, or, you know, the tree of Jericho, where you bring someone in under, and you're training them, you're letting them learn from you. The problem is that Top Flight isn't new, right? I mean,
Right.
Darius and Andre have been here for a long time. Now, to be fair, they've both been injured and they're still young, but it feels like they've been here long enough that they shouldn't need mentorship at this point really
Yeah.
anymore. And beyond that, like, I understand, due to injuries and stuff and whatever the case may be, maybe we've never really got to have them together at full speed like we really wanted them in the beginning. But it's
Totally.
been long enough now where the shine is rubbed off a lot on Top Flight, especially for me. And so right now, they don't do much for me. I mean, I'm kind of interested to see where Skyflight, which is a terrible name, ends up going. But right now, I'm not overly optimistic. I mean, I'm happy to see Scorpio Sky, happy to see Christopher Daniels. I just don't really care about Top Flight at this point anymore. I did 4 years ago when they first broke in, and it was like, oh, these guys are
Girl.
dope. Like, oh, shit. And then, oh, well, he's injured, and then he's injured, and then, oh, well, okay. And now they're not going to do anything, and now they're in Ring of Honor, and now they're, well, fuck, 4 years later, or 3 years later, it's like, I just don't really care much anymore.
No, like me and Sammy discussed this yesterday, where it's like AEW is gonna have a long list of coulda, shoulda, wouldas of what you
Yeah.
should have done. You didn't strike while the iron's hot, and now what could have been? It's like, can we please not this shit? Yes, this is a new company. It's only 5 years old, but I don't need this to be I need you to have more wins than losses. And right now, I still think of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas more than the hey, you did it and it was awesome. Maybe right now I'm in the moment, but yeah, I'm like, come on, like just please please don't let other people go by before you do something that you should have done.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Um, they showed a recap of Supercard of Honor, in which Alex Windsor took Athena to her limits. And as a result of her great showing against the Ring of Honor Forever Women's Champion, and Miss Alex Windsor is now all elite.
Mhm.
What do you think about that before we talk about her match?
So
I
I
missed what
have
you
some
said.
thoughts. No, I paused. I have some thoughts.
Oh.
So I didn't know who old girl was, right? And so, she's a new wrestler. No, she's not just a new wrestler. She's been on the indies for a minute. She's Mrs. Osprey. Oh, okay, fine, all right.
Oh, so now Anika just don't like her on Jump because
I
that's your
didn't need
man.
to. I didn't need to know. I didn't need to see your misses. I didn't need to see your misses. Your missus could have been just your missus, and I didn't know. I didn't need to know all this information. But no, y'all wanna be all informational and tell me who the freak people are. Oh, this is his missus. Okay, then fine. I don't like you. I don't like you. Fine. Since you want to be all in the public eye, tell me who the freak you is. Ew. I don't like it. Anyway, great, you have a job now. You're all elite. Cool, fine. So I guess you're gonna be with your man. You're gonna see more of you and Osprey together on social media and stuff. Boo. Boo. Anybody asked for that? Anybody asked for none of that? Okay, I was like, I did not see I did not see Supercard of Honor, so I'm not sure how good she is. Unfortunately I did not I came in low, so I missed the battle royale, but from what I've seen with her versus the next match we're going to talk about, Ty Valkyrie, like okay, I definitely see why she is a good acquisition. How old is she? 'Cause I know she's
I'm
been
sure she's probably in her late 20s, early 30s. I mean, she's not that old. She's
okay.
roughly
'Cause I know
Will
she's been on
Osprey's age,
from
25 to 30 somewhere.
again, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Oh, she's Osprey's age. No, we're gonna. If you want me to be impartial, stop linking her to other. Stop linking her to my man. Okay. I don't know who Osprey's last name is, but Osprey belongs to me. William Defoe, Shyham is her husband. Okay, so let's not do that no more on this stage. Now, I asked that because I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that about AEW where they do give everyone a chance. Like they're not like we're looking for the younger, hipper, 22-year-old we can mold. Like no, if you can wrestle, you get a job. So I do
Yeah.
appreciate that. But okay, cool. She got a job. Fine, whatever.
So, like you said, it does lead into her versus Taya Valkyrie,
Yes.
which Alex Windsor gets the win via sharpshooter, making Taya tap in just a little over 3 minutes. I mean, I was a little surprised here. I'm a little surprised, honestly. Like, okay, I get it. Like, Alex Windsor, she looked pretty good in her match against Athena. I did watch that.
Okay.
I haven't watched every single thing on Supercard of Honor, but I did watch that match because I was curious.
Cool.
And she performed well. I mean, took her to her limit. Eh, all that stuff is subjective and debatable. In my opinion, I thought she looked good. Athena still, is Athena. So I mean,
Right.
she can make almost anybody look good too. And so in that regard, I thought the match itself was fine. I haven't necessarily seen anything with her where I go, holy shit, like, yeah, like that's amazing. Like sometimes you see somebody and just from the first moment you lay eyes on them, you're like, whoa. And it's not like
Mm.
there's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. There's just nothing for me about her that I'm like, oh yeah, like that's amazing. And then to see her
Yeah.
come in and beat a veteran like Taya Valkyrie in just a little over 3 minutes, and which was, it wasn't a squash match, but it was definitely an Alex Windsor showcase spot.
Yeah.
It feels terrible to me for Taya Valkyrie. I really like Taya, and I thought that when she came to AEW, we were gonna get more. I know they do a lot on Ring of Honors. Maybe that's where Tony thinks her sweet spot is, but I expected her to be a very intricate part of the women's division around the titles and all those things, and she just hasn't. And now she's getting basically showcased to Alex Windsor. So, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I was a little surprised by that. You want to talk about the match before we talk about post match?
I don't feel as strongly as her beating Ty as you do, but I do like the sentiment is when Ty's one of those girls where like, oh, she's here. It's gonna bring women to the max, and it's like it never like is she's one of those girls who's just like shoulda coulda woulda like her
Yeah.
like her and Deanna Parazzo. It's just like hey, where is she? It's like ugh. You
Yeah.
had so many good people. What was the problem?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know Tony Khan was in the stage of I want to control everything. But if you know you was not doing a good job, especially with the women's division, you could like you don't care anyway. Just let someone else let someone else take control over it. And so I do agree, I do appreciate this sentiment. I think out of anybody in the women's division, I appreciate it being Ty Valkyrie. Unfortunately, to say that, I don't want anyone else to take the pin. In my opinion, so unfortunately, Ty was gonna be the person, and it was like I said, it was a fine match. Uh, I'm not gonna say she sucks, but I do agree with it's not the where have you been all my life? It's not that just yet. But this is this is why I love AEW. We'll wrestle it out until we figure it out. So right now it was a decent showcase.
Post match, Athena pops up at the balcony and says Alex Windsor didn't take her to any limits, and basically tells her to leave the ring. Athena says it's time for her to take over. It's my time, and mocks Tony Storm and her voice imposing, trying to do her best little Tony Storm impersonation. Here comes Tony Storm to challenge Athena to a fight right now. But Athena says, you get to face Billy Starks on Dynamite. And Tony Storm decides, well, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to try to come up to the balcony and get you. And Athena takes off running. So essentially, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I love anything Tony Storm's on. I glossed over it. There were a lot of great lines. I don't really remember them at the moment, all of them, but there was some great lines from both women. Um, this exacerbates my frustration with Athena. I absolutely adore Athena. I thought she was brilliant in NXT as Ember Moon. I thought she was great in WWE. And then I feel like, don't get me wrong, like I it's great that she's had this forever run as Ring of Honor Women's Champion. It's not enough. Athena should have been on the AEW women main roster, or the AEW roster, main Dynamite show 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever she came over the first time. And she should have been here all this time. And the fact that she is as good as she is and is putting in as great to work now on AEW television just shows you that she should have been here the whole time. It makes it a little frustrating that she hasn't been. I mean, I guess good things come to those that wait, and we've been waiting, you know, with bated breath for her to come, and so now she's here and doing great stuff. But it makes me even more frustrated that it's taken so long to get her here, and why Tony Storm or why Tony Khan feels like or felt like Ring of Honor was the right spot for her. I'm not. I mean, I don't know, but nonetheless, here we are. What about the
So,
post match stuff and Athena in general? Whatever you want to say about this?
so I totally agree with you. I wish Athena was on Dynamite much longer, much earlier than this, but I'm not sure who to blame on that. Because I think at some point in time, she was on Dynamite, and they weren't using her well. She was just another number in Jake Cargill's reign, which boo, right? So I'm not sure if she was like, "Hey, I'm out tired of this. Let me go to Ring of Honor and have fun." And fun she had, but baby, it was time to come home, and I'm so glad she's home. And her as Athena gets me so freaking excited because it's like finally, it's not the Athena, not the Tony Storm show where it's like, oh my god, Tony Storm is just gonna be butt crack crazy, and whoever is facing her is just gonna have to deal with it. No, Athena is matching stupid with stupid, and I'm so excited. She's like, well, why do you love Tony? Because she does that stupid little face. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then Tony Storm's like, no, 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 no. She comes out, and this is the patent line. I'm the only balcony bitch around here. I'm like, hilarious. And just the whole you'll be facing Billy Starks, and she was like, huh. Well, how about I make that a championship eliminator match? And Athena was like, no, 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 no. You want me to face her? If Billy Starks faces me, then she gets a title shot. Like, no. And it's like this back and forth. Like you said, and since you don't want to come down here, how about I go up there? And then she gets to the balcony and she does her pose. I'm very excited for this. Like they're like this is, like I said, this is not just Tony Storm being back crack crazy and Athena just has to roll with it. No, Athena is going stupid with stupid, and I'm very excited for this rivalry. I love it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought I'm very excited for Athena versus Tony Storm. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Billy
Yeah.
Gunn comes in to check on Anthony Bowens. Bowen says we're on different pages. We need to get on the same page. Uh, Billy Gunn says, no, you're obsessed with Mass Caster. And next week I have a slump buster for you. So I guess we'll see who that is. And I guess for the moment, Bowens is kind of in, but Gunn and him are definitely not on the same page at the moment. What do you think
Yeah.
long term is going on here? Okay, let me ask you this. Do
Yeah.
you think that somewhere this ultimately leads to the reuniting of Caster and Bowens?
No.
No. You think it's forever broken?
I'm not gonna say forever broken, but I don't think they have a plan to put them together in a year's time. I don't think they have a plan to put them together. And that's what this is what that statement felt like. It felt like we all acknowledge that we don't have a plan for Anthony Bowens. And it's like and Billy was like, listen, we know we don't have a plan. Let's figure out a plan. So how about we just we come over here and we just dissect everything. And it's like that's basically what it was. It's like, listen, we're going to get this back on track some way, somehow. I'm not sure how, but we're going to do it. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I don't know. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know. I like both Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, and I like Billy Gunn. I don't know that I'm here for a Bowens Caster feud. I'm not sure that does anything for me. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a little bit of interest maybe in a match, depending on how it comes off or whatever the case may be. But it's like it doesn't really do much for me, especially the way they've been burying Max Caster. So, and even Bowen's taking losses. So it's not like either of them's at the top of their game. And it's like I feel great about either one of them going into this. So it's
Right.
very weird. They split them both up, and now they put them both kind of on spirals, like they're both, in bad mental positions and bad mental states, and not winning and all those things. It's weird. So okay, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
Big Bill, Brian Keith versus Crew, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti versus the Gates of Agony versus the Guns for $200,000. The winner gets a big briefcase full of cash. These
So,
4 tag teams gonna go at it. What'd you
real
think of
quick,
this? Talk
what do
about it.
you what do you feel about like this new stipulation of cash money wrestling matches where if you win you get money? I'm not mad at it. It's like everyone says you have to fight for something, and in the meantime, between time, let's just give away this money and whoever wins. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. It's like we always say some matches need a reason for y'all to fight. Money is the biggest reason, so I'm not mad at it at all. But what do you think about the whole cash stipulation that's going on?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's fun. I mean, like I said, I think it adds a little bit to it. The only problem is that my rational mind also knows they're not probably getting that cash. It's all just the same recycled
that
cash
part, can we
from
I think
from
that
match to
part,
match. Like,
yes,
unfortunately, now if I really thought that they were going to walk away with the $200,000, like that might be
yes,
something different, But in the meantime, it definitely does, like you said, not every match can be for a title, and at the same time, you want to add something to it to give it a little bit of juice, and the idea. If you can, suspend that disbelief that they're actually going to win the money and that, you have a dog in the fight because you want so and so to maybe win the money, then I think it adds to it a little bit, So in that regard, I'm not mad at it. Um, and
like
I'm not
can
mad
we see
ultimately
y'all
at
cash the check? Like, can we see y'all cash the check? It's like, hey, this is the name on the check that
right,
says AEW to so and so and so. Give me at least give us a little bit and this shit
right,
like it's actually real.
all right. And when it comes to scripted stuff, again, for money, it's like, you already know who's gonna win, so somebody backstage has already been willing to. That's why I don't believe the exchange of money is real because, who's gonna be willing to be like, oh yeah, I'll take the loss and not a
Yeah,
chance at 200,000.
exactly.
Good on that. Like I don't know. So, but again, it's still, if you can suspend that disbelief and just be in the moment and just enjoy it for what it is and not think too hard about it, it does add a little bit of excitement to the match or what's going on. So, and the Gates of Agony sold it well. They did get the win here in a solid match, and they sold it well at the end. They looked very excited to get that non-existent $200,000. But I enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. Again, booking is always something that I find very interesting. Big Bill and Brian Keith were under Jericho at the Learning Tree, and I felt like they were poised to be getting a really big run. And
Yeah.
even, but the problem it felt like was that it was at a time where the tag team division is really down. So I don't know if that's good or bad for them because maybe they're not the Guns, right? They're not the
Right.
Lucha Bros. They're not FTR probably. So the time for them to shine and have their opportunity is probably when those guys are doing other stuff at the same time. When those guys are off doing other stuff, and I know the Lucha Brothers aren't even there anymore, but just your better tag teams, your top-notch tag teams.
Yeah.
When they're there doing those things, there really isn't a space for them and they feel out of place. So they have to do it when those guys are around. And at the same time, then it feels like the division is down when they're doing it. So it's a weird thing. But at the same time, they felt like they were getting pushed under Jericho for some sort of really big spot. It felt like it didn't really ever happen. The Guns were pushed before they got injured with, the Bullet or Bang Bang Gang and Jay White and Juice Robinson, and they got a lot of push before. And I like them, and I'm glad they're back. We'll see what ends up happening with them, but they haven't really been booked. I mean, I think without Jay White, they all suffer a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I need my full
Juice
force. I
Robinson.
do.
Juice Robinson has more juice, no pun intended, has more juice by himself than the Guns do, than Austin or Colton does, but he's not Jay White. So they're missing that. They're feeling that, that void is felt to me. And I like the Guns, but I don't really care about them beyond Jay White and the Bang Bang Gang to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So, and Crew feels a little out of place here. Like, I like Action Andretti and Leo Rush, and I'm a huge Leo Rush fan. Speaking of which, if you like hip hop, Leo Rush is also a rapper. Check him out. He's got some decent songs, actually. I was impressed. So check that out too. If you haven't yet, or any listeners that, check it out. Nonetheless, they feel kind of out of place here because I don't feel like they've ever been pushed like any of these other tag teams have, or like Gates back in the seem to be now being with Ricochet. So it feels weird. They feel very mid card, lower mid card, like the way they've been booked and dealt with. So it seems like kind of an odd spot because it feels like with the tag team division being a little down and the major teams not necessarily being super involved, that maybe Big Bill and Brian Keith, the Gates of Agony, the Guns could be kind of at the top of that main event picture with those other teams out, and I don't see the Crew there at all. I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there, just booking wise, I don't see them there. I mean, they've been in this everlasting feud now with what we'll call it, Top Flight, which I guess is maybe now because they're Sky Flight, maybe they've moved on from that eventually or
I
finally,
think
but
they did.
they've been doing that for a long time. And with Gates Agony getting the win here, it's I guess because it was Ricochet and he's a big deal, that's why they get the win here. But it just seems like I would have thought this would have been a spot for Big Bill and Brian Keith, but to get the win. But it is what it is, I guess. We'll see what they end up planning on doing. But yeah.
So first things first, I'm not mad at who was in it because it's not it's a number one contenders match, right? It's just a match
Mm.
to get money. So okay, so anyway, if you put your hands, put your name in the hat, you get called, you're gonna get paid. I'm not mad at that, right? So I'm not mad at who was in the match. My other babies, the Gates of Agony. I am very much so happy that they won. I love the collision between that, like that rivalry still kind of kept going of Big Bill and Brian Keith versus Gates of Agony in this match, where like that whole tackle over the freaking announce table was like hello, welcome here. And it was a whole lot of high packed action. So in that aspect, it was a great match. It was very much so entertaining. Like, hey, you had nothing to do. You want to watch something fun. This was a very fun match to watch. And like you said, I agree with the Guns, where it's like the Bang Bang Gang. I need them at full force. It's been so long since we've seen them at full force. So correct me if I'm wrong, was Jay White was he at what's the face? Was he at All In? Were they all
Oh,
together?
wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, he was all in.
He let all in. It's like, I know you're hurt, baby, but can you at least like? You're not a manager. You're like let's be very very clear. You're not a manager. You're Jay White. So as soon as you get healthy, boo boo, you're gonna be back on them. But I do want to see them all together in full force because it's a thing of beauty. Side note, a very little side note. Can you please, when they do their what you call it, when they do their entrance, the Guns and Jay White, I'm sorry, and Juice Robinson, can y'all put lights on their face? There's no point of doing the wraparound. I can't. It's dark. It's too dark, so you can't see. Especially Juice Robinson's face in the back. Like this is a solvable. This is a solvable. What do you call it? Technical issue. I'm like, why is Juice Robinson always so freaking dark? It's like put the lights in their face. It's so dumb. I'm sorry, that infuriates me to no end. But yeah, I'm glad they're back because the tag team division needed some bodies. So I'm very glad that everyone's back. And like this is a very nice display of, hey, this is our tag team division. It doesn't suck. It like the people in this match, any one of them could easily go against the Hurt Syndicate in a proper rivalry and win. Like I know, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Gates of Agony go against Hurt Syndicate? Was it a hit and quit it, or was it actual rivalry? Cause I feel like they should be like I feel like they should go against Hurt Syndicate and go for the top. I would love to see that on a pay-per-view. I think they did it on regular television. Do that on a pay-per-view, and that would be really, really fun. Especially since you had a thing with Ricochet and Her Syndicate. Now do it now because now you have more history back there. So it'll be really, really nice. But yeah,
I mean, now that Ricochet has henchmen, he needs to go attack the Hurt Syndicate. In my opinion, I mean that that would be perfect. So
yeah.
And that leads naturally to a tag team match.
It was a very fun match.
Here's Mac Caster for the usual burying of Mac Caster. This little thing.
Isn't the burying of Max Caster? It's
we ultimately get
storyline right now.
We ultimately get Max Caster. I mean, if you can call being clowned every week, being beat every week by, in theory, opponents that, in some regards, I'm not saying aren't better than you, but might not have been booked better than you in the past, is very questionable. And to be on a losing streak, if that's a storyline, I'm not interested in personally having if I was a wrestler. Like, I mean, at this moment in time, it has been months since anything positive has happened for Max Caster on television. And I understand you're on TV and any publicity, bad publicity is better than no publicity. And, time on TV is better than no time. I still for me, I cannot see the light at the end of the day. I don't know how you bring him back and make him look good again at this point. I just don't know how you do that. I don't know how you. Maybe you don't care, but I don't know how you resurrect him at all at this point. So, Mr. Caster and Kyle O'Reilly. Caster tries the sunset flip and gets cross arm breaker for his triples and a tap in a little over 2 minutes. So, for all of those that say he's not being buried, not only is he being humiliated and taking losses, but it's in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. I mean, let's be honest, he's not even getting a chance to show how he can wrestle in the ring at this point.
Now, that is his fault because think about now it was a 5-minute challenge. It was just get behind, but now let's see how you get your behind within 5 minutes. That's his fault. It's not our fault. That's his fault. But so I guess here's also the thing: if he was getting beat by scrubs, I would totally be with you. Like you don't want to put no one's name out because no one's a scrub. But if he was getting beat by Mark, the dude from Jurassic Express, what's the little dude named Mark something? If he was getting beat by him, yes, but because he's getting beat by, I feel so you're telling me that everyone he's faced in these challenges, like who do you see him not getting beat up by? Like in this role, in his role challengers, who he said, hey, he should have had a chance with who?
I'd have to look back at all of them because I don't really remember them all now. But yeah, I mean, you might be fair.
Off the top of the dome, it has been Hangman, it has been Takeshita, it had today. Today it was what's his name? Not Roderick Strong. It's been Cal O'Reilly. It has been I want to say Lance Archer. I'm not sure. I don't need to put different. But no, everyone he got beat up by, it's been people he should have got beat up by. Now, when we get down to the ladder where hey, you shouldn't have Action Andretti, no offense. If he gets beat up by Action Andretti, and I'm not saying that he's lower, but that's the same level, then we'll have a conversation of, oh, he's getting buried. Because no offense, Action Andretti, you should have beat up Action Andretti. But right now he's getting beat up by upper to mid upper mid to main eventer. So that's why I'm okay with this. And he's just getting TV time, and it's hilarious. Like the crowd's actually now chanting the stupid saying, "Let's go, Max, you're the best." They're actually chanting it. So he's getting the crowd fair. Now it's more so of turning the crowd fair into, okay, when do we actually turn it into he actually wins a match? I don't know when, but when he finally wins, it's gonna drop like gangbusters.
So let's see, what was next? Doo-doo-doo. Juice Robinson calls out Ricochet for costing the guns, and Big Milk. I don't like Juice without the beard. His face looks weird without the beard.
Listen, I'm not gonna say it looks weird, but he's supposed to. He's not a goofball, but he's supposed to be the silly person of the group. And it's like, you can't be silly right now. You look too serious. I'm so perplexed. I'm so perplexed right now.
So then we get to my favorite match of the show. This is why I watch AEW wrestling, because this is where wrestling happens. You get Roosh versus the wrestler Katsuyori Shibata of the Ops. I mean, this might not have been the best that they could do, given more time, given a better setting, a better storyline, all those kinds of things. But these two guys can really wrestle, and this is what I love about AEW. I'm a huge Roosh fan. I think he's underused, and I love Shibata. Happy to see his recovery and his comeback. I think him with the Ops is amazing. I think they've done a really good job in AEW of presenting Shibata over his time of being there. He's been injured, unfortunately, so he's probably been off TV more than he's been on since being All Elite. But he has been back, and when he's been on, it's been very fun. And you get to see, especially against a guy like Roosh, why he's considered, one of the best, was one of the best wrestlers in the world, Shibata, and why people are so ecstatic to have him back, and and are happy to be watching him. So no, I enjoyed this. I thought. Yeah, I was a little surprised, I guess, that Roosh got the win. I don't know why I'm surprised. I think it's because the Ops are a big deal at the moment, and Shibata is a member of the Ops, and it feels like maybe he should be getting the win here. But I think these guys are 50-50, really, Roosh and Shibata, when it really boils down to it. So when I watch this match, I think either guy can really win. So it wasn't like, oh shit, Roosh beat Shibata. Like, what's going on here? It was more like,
Right.
okay. But at the same time, it did feel like maybe Shibata should get the win just because of where the Ops are positioned. So what do you think of this match and this in general?
No, I totally agree with you. Like sometimes we can blame AEW, and sometimes it's just a work visa. And Roosh is just like, ugh, can you please stay in the country so you can get a decent push? Because he like Roosh one people that they go stop because of visa issues, or maybe he got hurt, and it's just like, if you could just stay here for a good 2 years straight, you'll be so great, right? Um, and I'm gonna say that I'm 100% surprised that they got the win, because I do agree with you about Shibata being with the Ops and he the trio shadow, but unfortunately the Rose has lost the Rose has lost the what's I don't know what the saying is, but like the bloom has fell off the rose when it comes to Shibata. Whereas like I think now he's just here to push other people. And that's unfortunate because I literally found out about him on Rampage, and I fell in love because his entrance music was so sexy as hell. So but it's like right now, yeah, it is like you do want more for Shibata. I'm not sure what more is, but it's like getting beat by Roosh is like should it be happening? Not sure, but I'm not totally mad about it. I will say that. But great match. Shibata is still doing so well. I'm not sure what like. I love that he's a trios champion, but like, not sure when he's gonna retire. But when he announces it, I want him to have that final great run. When I say great, like it doesn't have to win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, but yet let him win the International Championship, and then or like something like that. But right now, I'm fine. I'm fine with this match. The match was great. I love Roosh and Shibata, so it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, we're not there at all, but I would love to see someone like Shibata beat Okada for that title. I mean, I think that would be a lot of fun. Shibata versus Okada. I mean, I could, that'd be, in my opinion, it'd be a lot of fun. I know there's a lot of people that would probably think that that's a mismatch and that Okada is what he is, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. Let's see. Post match, whatchamacallit, they try to beat up Shibata, and Hobbs comes out and makes the save. I think ultimately we're getting LFI versus the Ops um, for the trios title. So be interesting to see what comes of that. And then that leads us into our main event of the night. Don Callis family versus Jet Speed, Mascara Dorada, and Bandito. Hechicero, part of the Don Callis family that came. And I'm trying to remember, it was Hechicero and who was it? I'm drawing a blank on the other member of the Kyle. Rocky Romero was the member of the Callis family, correct? Because it was, I don't know, there were four of them. There were four members of the Callis family, right? So it's four guys. Yeah. No, I mean, Lance Archer. Let's see, Hechicero, Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, and Josh Alexander, right? For the Callis family. Yeah. Um, Again, I talk a lot about multi-man matches, and I have my issues with them. There's a lot going on, and sometimes it's hard to follow. Cameras don't get everything, and you do get that all the time. So I have that feeling all the time. And when it's a main event, a lot of times it feels like, I don't want to say forced. I understand the Callis family. At least the Callis family is a solid unit that's a faction.
Yeah.
Whereas Jet Speed, Dorada, Bandito, they're just kind of thrown together to fight the Callis family, which is fine. I understand there's not a ton of factions to just have like faction warfare, and even then you still have to whatever. So I mean, I get it. There's going to be times that the Don Callis family is going to have to fight people that are Frankenstein together. It just doesn't hold as much interest. It feels like there's not as much quite storyline, although there has been ongoing stuff with these guys in the Don Callis family. So to a certain extent, each one of these guys has a little bit of whatever with the Don Callis family. So I understand why they're there in the match. And this CMLL partnership with AEW, you're getting a lot of these superstar Mexican wrestlers, big spots on AEW television. The main event is good for some of these guys. I enjoyed this. I thought it was fine. The wrestling was very solid. All these guys can really wrestle. I love getting to know. I already knew Bandito was good. I love getting to watch him even more. Getting to see the Hechicero, who I wasn't very familiar with before, just a few months ago, and now I'm really starting to enjoy him. So in that regard, it's very good. I thought the match, like I said, was very solid. Um, Dorada, they get the win with the shooting star press. It was fine. I mean, it's a collision show, so in that regard, the main event doesn't necessarily have to be. And I don't want to, say that the main events always have to be the big names, but it doesn't have to be a Hangman Moxley situation, right? So, in that regard, I thought it was fine, and all these guys can wrestle, so I enjoyed it. What do you think of this and the way the show ended? And then give me your final grade for this show.
So, like I said, all these people can wrestle, so this was a great match, no matter what. I know it's Collision, but it'll be great if there was a little bit of consistency of the show. It's like this felt very random. Of hey, Collision, who can wrestle? Oh, Jet Speed and the Callis family. All right, y'all be the main event. This is like, huh? Okay, fine, I guess. But I wish so we started off with Don Callis and Cal Fletcher with Dustin Rhodes. It'd be nice if they finish off the show with, okay, how about a brawl and they both come out and face each other, like some kind of consistent thread. I know, like you said, I don't need the big names to end it, but I do need some kind of hey, this is the show in story. This is the conclusion of the story, at least, But besides that, great match. not I'm okay with them winning, you know, like this really, like you said, there's no stakes here. It's just we're having good old fashioned fun. So it was fine. It was, again, Saturday night. You don't have anything to do. This was a great match to watch.
What's your grade for this this episode of Collision? What are you giving it?
So I know they don't put too much on. This was the Collision after All In,
Right.
but it was the Collision after All In. So I was expecting one notch more than what was happening here. Not a lot of notches, just like one notch more. But like I said, Saturday night, I have nothing to do. I'm watching this. Nothing egregiously stupid happened. C plus. C plus.
You said C plus?
C plus.
C plus. Yeah. I mean, I'm right around there. I was debating C plus or B minus. I mean, there was nothing overly egregious at the same time, other than, you know, AR Fox and Ricochet and Roosh and whatchamacallit. Am I drawing the blank on his name at the moment? Whatchamacallit. Anyhow, but besides those two matches, I thought, the rest of it was kind of mediocre as far as wrestling goes. Even the main event, had some good spots, but I didn't think that it was like I didn't think it was as good as the match before it. So yeah, I'm right there. I give it a C plus. I hate just like us being on total agreement on everything, but at the same time, I think that's right around the same. I mean,
Why not?
well, I mean, it's fine. Like I said, I was thinking C plus, B minus anyhow, so I'll go C plus with you. I think that's a good spot for it. I mean, it's it's a little above, just average at C, but yeah, it probably didn't quite reach that B level. So,
Yeah.
all right, so we both give it a C plus. So that is our AEW Collision review from July 19th. We're gonna move on and review Dynamite from this last Wednesday. Anika, you want to take the reins on that one?
Hey, I can. All right. So this is the official. So unfortunately, because Let Me Life, we didn't see the first ever Dynamite after All In. This is the second one. But either way, it still feels like we're still in the new chapter of the fresh rivalries, which is still great, right? So we just finished Collision, right? And the main thing was that the Death Riders beat up Coco Cabana. So here comes Hangman, rightfully so, angry as hell, entering the arena, getting ready for his match against Wheeler Yuta. But of course, pump behind MJF, gotta be pump behind MJF and stop him like, hey, Hanger, how's it going? And like, feel like you're dodging me. Well, we can't do that for long as I have this. Let's just settle this. Let's have the match now. And it's like Hangman, and Hangman was like, listen, I do not have time for you. He's like, I am not going to fight you just because. Either you sign that contract and we're going to go at it, or be a man and get some wins so you can face me directly. Okay, are you good with that? Okay, bye. And actually, I love that. We're like, he's like, I'm not sure why MJF thought he could coerce Hangman into giving him a match without him using the contract. It's like, sir, so you have two matches? Listen, the days of being a dumb babyface champion are over. So no, we're not doing that. So great, a nice little great opening segment of Dynamite. Any thoughts before I go to the first match?
Not really, other than just the fact that I like MJF, and I think that when he's trolling somebody and he's kind of the one that's chasing, I think that's when he's best. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed him as champion, but I really enjoy him when I feel like he's chasing something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the feeling that I get because he gives you that, he's chasing, but yet he acts like they're chasing him, even though he's
Right.
chasing them,
Yeah.
And so in that regard, I love that. And I think, I mean, everything he does for me at this moment is basically gold. I mean, he can be a little overly wordy sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
beyond that, I mean, there isn't much he does that I don't enjoy. So no, I thought this was fine. I'm still, I'm not hot on Hangman Page. So again, it is what it is. But no, I thought this was fine. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, this was fine. All right, and so now, like I said, to help out to avenge his friend, we have Willa Yuta versus Hangman. This went less than 10 minutes. It should have because it's Hangman versus Yuta. Listen, Yuta had been doing the work, and he is a great wrestler. But it's still Hangman Adam Page, who is now your champion. So no, this should have gone. This definitely should have gone less than 10 freaking minutes. Buckshot and Hangman was like, "That is now over with." I'm not sure why you thought it was. He gets a chain. He beats the crap out of Yuta, and he has the chain around Yuta's neck. He had to send him over the top rope, and he stopped. He's like, and he just shouts at you like, "Look, ain't nobody." Like, why are you still with these crackheads emotionally? Are they? They're not coming for you. No one is coming for you. I have you like literally. I can push you over this like. Now I'm just paraphrasing, but like I'm about to do this, and no one's coming for you. Do you get that? He just shows him on the floor, and the unit's just shaking, like, oh my god, oh yeah. He chain off his neck. He's just worried, and and I love how Heyman leaves. Like he has the chain and he has the belt. And he's just like he looks back. He goes up the ramp. He looks back. Yuta, forgive my friend. She's just like, you're just his eyes just say you're just a dumbass. That's what his eyes say. It's like, and so he just goes off the ramp, and it's like, this is grown Hangman. I'm like, we're already, it isn't the first time he was AEW champion, right? But the first time they were just winging it, right? And he was, I ain't gonna say he was young, but he felt still like a rookie instead of veteran. This is grown man Hangman. I am all here for it. So a nice segment. It bounces off of Collision and the beat up of Kukubana, and I'm good for it. And I also love that it shows us that Hangman is totally out of the dark place. It's no more mustache. I'm crazy. I don't care anymore. No, he's in touch with his emotions and he's in control of them. So yes, it's no more crazy Hangman. If we're gonna go crazy Hangman, it's for a purpose. I love that. Any thoughts?
Hmm. The way that these guys have been recently booked, this is the way that this should take place.
Yes.
I have a real issue with the way that Wheeler Yuta has been treated in general. I understand there's a lot of people that don't like him, whatever the case may be, Romeo, that don't like Wheeler Yuta. So I get that. At the same time, he joined the Blackpool Combat Club, or they brought him in to the Blackpool Combat Club when Brian Danielson was still there. And the concept was this is an iron sharpens iron thing. This is Wheeler Yuta's ability to come in and learn and train under the best. And 2 years now with the Blackpool Combat Club and now the Death Riders, and he's evolved into getting squashed out in 3 minutes and having no offense at all. I understand that he's the job guy for the Death Riders. That is a bad position for him. I don't like that. First of all, a group like the Death Riders shouldn't have a job guy. They're all supposed to be top guys. That's why you have Claudio. That's why you have Pac. That's why you have Marina Shafir in theory, because you think of her as one of the top women in AEW, right? I mean, it's not supposed to be a bunch of schlubs. Now, I understand you got to have kind of your lackey and the guy that you take it all out on, and Wheeler Yuta's taking that role. But I think it's unfair. And I think Wheeler Yuta's a better wrestler and a better talker all around than to just be put in this position. Now, you say you talk about vortexes and all those things. I think there's a John Moxley vortex to a certain extent. And even though, yes, you're in the main event, and even though you're doing this, when was the last time Yuta had a belt? When was the last time Claudio had a belt, other than the trios titles? Let's put it that way. When was the last time?
Don't do that. They just love the trios titles. But keep going.
Yeah, but But I'm saying but Moxley, I mean, Moxley gets all these individual titles and all this individual acclaim, and the rest of them are just the Death Riders. It's not the Death Riders, it's Moxley and the Death Riders. So he gets his own little shine and to stand alone. And these other guys that I believe, when you're talking about Claudio Castagnoli and you're talking about Pac and potentially even Wheeler Yuta or oh my God, who's the guy that's there now in place of Pac? I'm drawing a blank. They got
Gabe Kidd.
Gabe Kidd. These guys are guys. I'm not saying they're the Gabe Kidd, but definitely Claudio, in my opinion, is equal to John Moxley and shouldn't be taking that backseat role. And I feel like that's the role that he's been relegated to. And Wheeler, even worse. I don't know if the Death Riders split up today and everyone goes their own way. Is Wheeler Yuta in a better place than he was before he joined the Blackpool Combat Club as far as getting booked for a serious spot as a singles wrestler? I don't think he is. I don't know that he is. I think he would be at the bottom of the mid card. He'd be competing with, I don't even know what he'd be competing for. So, in that regard, I don't know that this has benefited him the way that I think Tony thought it would. It's gotten him a lot of time, and I think he's become a better wrestler, but I also think it's done a big disservice for him in many regards. So, in that regard, I don't like him necessarily getting squashed out here in 3 minutes to Hangman. I understand Hangman's your champion and Wheeler is what he is. Wheeler should be better than that at this point. Yeah, Hangman Page is your champion, but Wheeler should be able to have a better showing than that at this point. After 2 years of training under these guys, being beat up by these guys, being motivated and all these things, we've seen him wrestle better than that. I mean, he's performed way better than that in matches he's been in with the group, with whatever. So I mean, it's a weird spot to see him have him come in and not be able to do anything. At the same time, it does make Hangman Page look very strong. I mean, Wheeler Yuta isn't necessarily a pushover at the same time to a certain extent. And he just got steamrolled because Adam Page is in his bag and in his zone, and no one can stand in his way, whether it's going to be Wheeler Yuta or John Moxley. So I get that. So, I see it both ways. I guess, want more for Wheeler Yuta, and it feels like the storytelling hasn't done him any favors.
So I'll say this about Wheeler Yuta. I think it's not just a matter of have you gotten better. It's more so of who is in the landscape right now. Like right now, the mid card is a very large landscape. Technically, the mid card is Okada, Takeshita, Cal Fletcher, Adam. Well, it used to be Adam Cole, but and then Ricochet and Ricochet in the mid card, and I'll throw in the Hurt Syndicate right now. Like that's really the mid card of the champion. So right now, unfortunately, no, I don't see Yuta beating anyone up. Now, honestly, the meat of tail of it is some wrestlers will never get there just because of they're not gonna say of the status, but it's just a personality thing where it's like it won't fit and honestly a body build thing where it's like yeah, unfortunately some wrestlers will like by themselves are not going to get there no matter what, so it's better to be a part of a group than by yourself on an island where you're not getting no TV time and it's just like and nothing's going to happen. Like if like by himself I can kind of see him being in the same lane of Max Caster, AR Fox, Anthony Bowen, maybe the Bang Bang Gang right now without Jay White. He'll probably be in that category right now. So sometimes it's like, hey, I'm in this group because it will make me better. And without this group, listen, I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be anything. Now, with this match, I don't expect most because if if your best friend gets beat up, no, it ain't gonna be no, I'm gonna beat y'all. I'm beating y'all behind. It's not about a feat of strength and going bout for bout with a wrestler. No, you just beat up my friend. I'm coming to beat y'all behind. So no, I am actually glad that was under 10 minutes because sometimes like story wise this should not have been a wrestling match. No, I'm beating you behind. I'm getting the freak up out of here, and that's what happened. So I'm okay with it being under 10 minutes. against the world heavyweight champion.
There's a
Hangman
difference
Adam
between under
Page.
10 minutes and over 3 minutes. I mean, there's a lot of range there. Like I mean, they could have given it 5 minutes and let Wheeler have a little bit of offense. Like, I mean,
But no, you're by yourself with a pissed off Hangman who went up against Swerve and basically drugged old boy. The death match with Swerve versus Hangman is legendary. So you think that Hangman should have gone over 5 minutes with William Willer Yuta in any capacity?
the guys whose name I can't even get out and remember at this moment in time. Exactly. Now you're right.
It's like,
All
no,
right.
this should not have been this is not a feat of strength of wrestling capabilities. You beat my friend, I'm beating your behind. Yes. And now it's over.
So I guess then my question is, if you are in school or you're taking classes for 2+ years and you're no better than when you started, at some point, don't you think maybe this is not serving its purpose? I mean, if you're Wheeler Yuta and you've been training iron versus iron, sharpening your skill with the best wrestlers on the planet for over 2 years in the BCC now Death Riders, and you still can't do shit in a wrestling match, like
Listen,
at some point, like,
a couple of months
what's
ago,
the point?
again, it wasn't a wrestling match. It's me beating your behind for my friend. You're forgetting
It's
that he
supposed to
didn't
be a
go.
wrestling match.
It's supposed to be, but you beat my friend. I'm beating your behind. You can't say it's a wrestling match. I'm beating your behind.
Okay, to be fair, it was John Moxley that hung Colt Cabana over. Now, why is he not chasing Moxley down backstage? Why
Because
is it taking it all out on Wheeler Yuta? Wheeler
Wheeler,
Yuta wasn't even the big. He didn't even or didn't orchestrate it. Didn't do the big damage. I mean, come on now.
but no, because Moxley's not stupid. So he's like, no, I'm not going to do a crazy out Moxley. Yo, dumb behind.
Because Wheeler Yuta is the low hanging fruit of the. That's fine.
And you're the cult, yes, and he's the cult follower. So yes, I'm gonna follow my cult leader and to get my behind whooped. Now to say like, nevertheless, we're not acting like he didn't go over 10 minutes with Adam Copeland and almost win. That was actually a good match a couple of months ago. He was the pure champion, but unfortunately, Ring of Honor is not on a level as it should be to get recognized as that belt. So like, it wasn't like he was like he's a scrub and he didn't win anything. But as of right now, you're a cult follower. You get your behind whoop because you beat up my friend.
All right. What was next?
So next up, we have a hype, not a hype video, but a hype little exchange between Billy and Athena. Billy Stark and Athena. Billy Stark versus Tony Storm is up later. So Athena's making sure she knows the assignment, and so she's answering all these questions like, "What is AEW? Athena Elite Wrestling. What's the mission tonight? To beat Tony Storm?" And Athena's like, "No," because remember, if she beats Tony Storm, she gets a chance at the belt. She's like, "No, the goal is to take Athena out. No, to take Tony Storm out." And she's like, "Yes, got it, boss. Yes, like they both look at the camera. Tony Storm, get ready." It's like, and it's like, yeah, okay, that was really cute. I actually liked it. Any thoughts on this little segment?
Really, I'm just excited for the Athena Tony Storm stuff, and Billy Starks has enough personality that she holds up. As far as in this role, I like it. I mean, I think luckily she's very young, so I mean, I not a vortex, not necessarily bad. I just, she's getting a lot of reps, she's getting a lot of stuff. She's also taking a lot of abuse from Athena and those kind of things and a fair amount of losses. So, luckily she's young and can still bounce back, but she's good. So I don't have any concerns. She wrestles well, she talks well, she's got a great personality. She'll be fine in the long run. And, I'm happy that she, by default, gets to wrestle a Tony Storm because she's Athena's minion, so that's fun.
Yes.
It's a good spot for her at a young age to get her feet wet and all those kinds of things. So,
side note, that was one of the lines that Tony Storm said on Collision. Athena will be great when she hits puberty. I'm like, she's in her 20s. Stop.
right. So no, I mean, I think this is going to be fun. I mean, we'll talk about the match when it comes down time for it. But no, I thought this segment was good, and I like. I mean, it's there are ways to do cross promotion and pop stuff and product placement and all those kinds of things, plug stuff, and there's goods and bad ways of doing it. I thought that Athena's little shark fin hat to plug Shark Week was kind of cool. I
Yeah,
mean, I thought
it was
that's a cute
cool.
way to do it. She's definitely a predator and she's on the hunt at the moment. So in that regards, it definitely fits. And I thought it worked well. So no, I liked it. I thought the whole thing was good.
Yeah. All right, our second match of the night, more of a competitiveness. We have FTR versus Jet Speed, which is Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. And this, these two are the antithesis of what wrestlers are. So this was a very great match, very high pace. I'm not gonna say astonished, but I'm actually, it's crazy how, what's the word? Well, Knight and Speedball have meshed together as a tag team. And I'm pretty sure this was not the goal. This was the goal was to your individual stars, but hey, let's put them together right now because we don't have anything for you individually. And they're like, all right, bet. And right now they're really meshing well as a tag team. I love the matching gear. So like, okay, like we're actually a tag team. Cool, fine, bet. So they come out, great match again. FTR is probably, it's very hard to debate that they're not the best tag team in the world. Uh, Unfortunately, because you have a Stokely Hathaway in their corner, Stokely uses his crutch that's supposed to help him. You supposed to be injured to get the 1, 2, 3 for his team. FTR wins. Anything before we talk about the post match?
Well, you buried the lead on this, which is that this was a number one contender tag team tournament first round match.
I didn't know that. Oh, my bad. Yeah. So
So I
sorry.
guess they're having the tag team tournament first to name a number one contender, right? So
Yes, which is very, very, very much well needed. Yes. So this was very okay. Cool. Continue.
so this was a first round match. So I'm assuming it's a single elimination, so the winners go on. So the goes on, and
It is
Jet
single.
Speed,
It is single.
goes by the wayside. Which if we're like Anika likes to say, if we're calling a spade, FTR should probably be beating Jet Speed, especially in a tournament for a number one contendership and a shot at the AEW World Champion or Tag Team Championships. That being said, yeah, I mean, I am a huge Speedball fan, and I was very excited when he came to AEW, and I thought, oh, hopefully he'll get a good singles push. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I don't know if he's, big enough, strong enough, or bookable enough to necessarily be AEW World Champion, but maybe TNT champion, maybe, international champion, something. And that didn't necessarily happen. And then they booked him with Kevin Knight, who had come in and had a couple good matches on his own, and had been paired with another. He was with another guy, Blake Christian, several times, and looked good. And I started to get a little more familiar with them. And then they put these two together, and I was like, another Frankenstein tag teams. And the division has so many natural good tag teams that we don't necessarily need to be doing this. But now, because they've let them stay together and actually wrestle for a while and have given them gear that looks I'm willing to say that they're a tag team and they don't feel Frankenstein at this point anymore. That being said, I still want more for Mike Bailey as a singles wrestler. I'm not necessarily there yet for Kevin Knight, but at the same time, like you said, if you don't have anything for him, then at least being involved in the tag team tournament is something, and getting tag team matches is something. Um, Pushing FTR, which they did. This was a very good match. I thought Speedball and Kevin Knight came off looking really good, which is part of why I think FTR is probably the best tag team on the planet, even though it's a weird thing to say just because there's some really good tag teams out there. They have the ability to make whoever they're wrestling look really, really good. Even in winning, they can take a good, they take a beating well, they sell well, all those things. A lot of times they feel like they pull wins, they snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, even with as good as they are, and they're very good at doing that. and So no, I thought this was a very good showing for Jet Speed against, probably the best tag team on the planet, other than maybe the Young Bucks. I guess that's the debate right there. So, my guess is that we're heading that way eventually here again. So um, I really enjoy this. The contrast in styles, FTR built their name on kind of no flips, just whatever, just fists, right? And
Right.
and Speedball and Kevin Knight are definitely much more high speed, flippy, jumpy around guys. So that contrast is always fun with a team like FTR. And I thought this came off really well. They had really good chemistry, and I'm glad that they gave Jet Speed time to look good too. I mean, the match
Yeah.
went almost 20 minutes, which is nice. So, yeah, I love this. I thought this is great.
All right. And so post match, they're in the ring, basking in their win. Stokely gets on the mic, and he's still a little perturbed that he got beat up by Adam Copeland, and so he was like, "Give it up for the greatest tag team alive, FTR." And it's he was just like, and we should be focusing on the tag team titles, but Adam Copeland is still around. He is a cancer to the AEW division, and and basically he's in our way. But he should, but just in case but remember the stipulation that if you ever interfere in our matches, you will be fired. But here comes on this day, here comes Adam Copeland. To say his name, he appears. And so he was like, listen. I understand the stipulation of if I get in your matches or I put your hand on you, I'll be fired. So I went into business. I made a business negotiation, and here comes the Hurt Syndicate. It's like, wait, whoa, hold up. And so they come down the ring and they start brawling with FT freaking R all over the place. And while they're doing that, Adam Cole gets into the ring. He was gonna spear Stokely one more time, but he side noted he got and Adam Copeland spears the security guard, and he stands tall in the ring. And so the brawl ensues. No one really won. They just like Adam Cole still tall in the ring while FTR backed away up the ramp. This was unexpected. Where it's just like, huh? You made a business decision with the Hurt Syndicate to beat up FTR, and it's like, FTR are heels. What was the I guess the question is, what does Hurt Syndicate get out of beating up FTR? Like right now they don't have beef, right? There was no promo, there was no interaction where they have beef with FTR. But so what do the Hurt Syndicate get out of this? This was really left field. It's a very much so a good guy babyface thing to do, but I'm not 100% on it. But we'll see what happens. Any thoughts?
It's right on brand for the Hurt Syndicate because this is what they do. They get paid to hurt people. And so, they're the mercenaries backstage, right? You need someone to come. At the same time, like it feels like they're bigger than that. It feels like the Hurt Syndicate should be bigger than just hired help and henchmen. You know what I'm saying? And they are. They're tag team champions, and they are. But at the same time, I guess they're about that money, right? So if someone wants to pay you to go and have their back or do whatever, then we'll go hurt people. That's what we do. And in some respects, I like it. In some respects, I don't. I mean, I can see it both ways. So, but this is fine. I mean, Cope needs help, and in theory, he doesn't have any. FTR was his help, and now they've turned their backs on him, and that's so. It was since Christian hasn't gotten his head out of his ass yet,
Okay.
and come around and whatever.
Yeah.
Cope doesn't really have any friends, so he's got to pay for the help, right? The question becomes, and I think where this could really become interesting is if the relationship lasts any longer than just this one situation. Like, if at some
Right.
point where it's like, oh yeah, you paid us, but it's only money, we don't care, and somehow they turn on him or they're not there for him when it comes crunch time. Oh, it was a business decision. We're just business. It's business. What whatever the case may
Right.
be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who knows? Which I think could be spicy depending on how they do it. So I'm kind of here to see how it plays out. At the same time, it feels odd for your tag team champions and for Bobby Lashley, who's going to be one of your premier singles wrestlers at some point, to be hired henchmen. So I don't know. It feels more like a job for, and no disrespect, the position for a Shelton Benjamin or a Cedric Alexander, not necessarily for like a Bobby Lashley or an MJF type of situation, right? So
Well, Bob. So MJF was not out there, and we'll talk about that
that's
later.
true. I'm just speaking in general terms. Like,
Right. A group as a whole. Yeah.
yeah,
But we'll see what happens. All right. So after that, oh, I'm here. We get a promo from the patriarchy, which does not include Christian Cage. It includes Nick Wayne, Mother Wayne, and Chris Sabian. More so in a nutshell, they're like, listen, we've explained ourselves last week. There's no need to take risk. Now we're going to show people what it feels like to be what blah, 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 blah. If we're going to show people what we can do when we are uncaged. Nice little inline credit. I'm a little nervous because I'm not sure how far they're going to go without Christian to call spade a spade. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting, but Nick Wayne is so young. Chris Sabian never hit that sweet spot of getting all the cheers from the crowd, and so I'm hoping for the best for them because they have done great with Christian, and hopefully without Christian, at least decent. Like I'm not trying, not shooting for the stars, but at least let them do something decent. Any thoughts?
yeah. I mean, yeah, this is another one of those situations where we're going to get to see firsthand how much someone benefited from being under somebody else. Because we're
Yeah,
going to see now that the patriarchy has broken up, can Nick Wayne continue to parlay what in theory he should have gained from being under Christian Cage and on TV with him every week, learning from him, the rub that he should have got from being with him, all those things. You know, Kip Sabian is what he is. For me, he's garbage. I don't, the garbage is a hush word, I guess, but he's what he is. For me, he's very low mid card, low end of the mid card. Mother Wayne, for me, holds no real interest. I mean, she's very one dimensional. The only thing here that holds any interest for me is Nick Wayne, and I'm very high on Nick Wayne. I'm excited for his future. He is very young. I don't. The three of them together alone does nothing for me, and I think they're in big trouble. Just the three of them alone. I don't think Nick Wayne at this point is strong enough personality and promo wise to carry the three of them alone, unfortunately. And
yeah,
it'll be very interesting to see now that Christian has been separated, whether he falls on his face, or whether he can actually benefit from all that time. I'm hoping that he benefits. I think Nick Wayne has a very, very bright future. He still needs some work, and I'm happy that he's getting it. We'll see what it ultimately looks like. But I don't feel strong for the matriarchy as far as sticking around for a long time and or being any kind of a formidable group, unless they get somebody else or something. I mean, I don't know what they would do,
hopefully
but
get
I mean, I
someone
don't.
else. I think they do need like one more person.
The question is who. I mean, I don't even know who's out there. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, definitely need somebody else at this point. So I guess we'll see.
We'll see. All right. So after that, we have a promo from Moxley, and in his sinister backstage with Marina behind him, he was just like, "Listen, it isn't easy being the champion. You have to do it day in he's like, listen, I lost. He's like, all in, I lost. I need to be a bitch about it. I'm like, I do like that. I do like that. You're like, I need to be a bitch about it. But Hangman, you can see the moment, but can you be champion for an entire year? Next, so in the days come, we'll see. We find out who the real Hangman is after all of this, and he leaves. And then what? Marina gets to the thing, and
Explain.
she says something, and it gets muted. And I was trying to read her lips. I don't like she said anything. Like what did she say that she got muted? Cause I didn't hear anything, or I didn't see anything that sounded like she said anything bad. But I want to
I
go
didn't even
over
know it was. First of all, it didn't make. I guess I missed the muted part. I thought she like grunted. I didn't even know it was like a word. I just heard like a sound, and I guess I missed the muted part. So I was like, "What the fuck is she doing? Like, is she just grunting on the screen?" Like,
no, it was mute. Like no, it was muted. Either she called him a bitch or a pussy or something. I'm like like so like no offense. Are we still you can say bitch. We can't say pussy. I'm not sure what she said, but really well, I feel like pussy. I feel like that word should not be it shouldn't be muted. But either way, what do you think about this Moxley this Moxley promo from backstage?
Marina Shafir was great at the end. I didn't even know what she was doing, but she was great. Um, but uh, honestly, I thought for a second she was just kind of grunting at the screen, like, like. But I loved it. I loved even that.
Yeah.
So, listen, I 2 years ago, Moxley was our Horsey of the Year for Best Wrestler of the year, and I think that Moxley is a extremely talented wrestler. I think he's a wonderful promo. Um, he's one of the better promos in the business. I think he is currently doing what he loves to do. I think this is the Moxley that John Moxley or whatever his real name is in real life has always envisioned for this character, right?
Yes.
I think that this is exactly what he thinks is the sweet spot and the perfect lane for John Moxley. For me, I like it. I just, you know, certain things for me have a shelf life, and I feel like this character for Moxley has a bit of a shelf life. I am not sure what more I necessarily want or less I want. I can't necessarily put my finger on it. I just feel like it's getting to feel like, the term played out a little bit. It's like when you listen to that song too many times, or it feels like when an artist has an album, you get the new album, right, and it's got 12 songs on it, but 10 of them kind of sound the same. Like it's like, I know you're in your sweet zone, you're doing exactly what you want to do, you're feeling the music and all that. On our end, it comes off very similar all the time, and it's I don't know, like for me it just kind of, I think it's wearing a little thin for me a little bit. I don't know what I necessarily want him to do, but I feel like I need a little bit of a John Moxley change in some way. I don't know what that even looks like. I just feel like I need something different from him. I'm feeling just a little bored. But other than that, I mean, it's fine for what it was. Marina Shafir was great at the end. So
I I I need my Eddie Kingston back.
yeah,
I need my
yes,
Eddie Kingston back to pull John from the brink of crazy. It's been too long. I need Eddie Kingston and John Moxley to reunite so he can bring them back from the brink of crazy. I do. That's what I
that
do.
would be fun. That would
That
be cool. That would be cool. That would be cool. I'm also um by the time we get to the end of this show, I'll mention it again, but I'm going to say it here because this is a Death Rider segment. It's 2 weeks ago and All In, Brian Danielson came out and helped him, and we haven't seen him again since. And I just don't, I don't want it to feel like, oh, he just popped out and then went away. Maybe that's all it's going to be. Maybe it was just a one-time look. But I almost feel like we need to hear something from him in regards to that. And at the end of by the time this show ended, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping ahead. We hadn't. I was a little like, I was expecting to hear something from him by now after All In.
Yeah. That might have been a hidden and quitted of a special appearance from All In. I would love for him to do something else. Like he didn't have to wrestle, but yeah, like you said, maybe have someone in his stead to face the Death Riders. That would be cool. But like right now, I feel like that was just a hidden and quitted. It's
Or
All
even
In.
just a little explanation of why. I mean, we all know why, but just a little of, you know, I was backstage and I just couldn't take watching Moxley do whatever he was doing, and whatever the case may be, like just something, just a little more context. But again, that's just because I'm a Brian Danielson fan and I just
Yes.
don't want him to go away. I'm sad that he's
Yeah.
gone. And when you tease me with the one-off comeback and all you get is a little yes chance and a kick and a move, it's like I want so much food.
I was so
What do you
much.
get? Like, but
That's why you can't listen to us because we never want you to retire. It's one more match. Well, especially Mark Danielson when he doesn't feel old at all. Like what he's still, I want to say he's still in his 40s, and right now you have 50-year-olds still doing a decent match. It's like yeah, like one more match, one more match.
yeah, and he's one of those guys that I mean, he's for a lot of people, he's their goat, and you don't when you can still go and you feel like to a certain extent like he's not leaving in the prime of his career but still leaving with a lot of miles on the
Yeah,
wheels, it feels like, oh, we could get so much more, and at the same time, just like I say that as sad as it is, you got to let people do what they do, which includes letting Ric Flair wrestle at 71 years old. You've got to let these guys walk away when they're ready to walk away, even if it's at 40, because they want to have a future where they're not, whatever, handicapped or whatever the case may be. They want to spend more time with their, whatever the situation is, that's their decision. And if this is when he's ready to retire, this is when he's ready to retire. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. Back to
understood.
the show at hand. Long enough tangent on Daniel Bryan.
And now here we go. Here is our in ring segment with Will Ospreay. Hey, and so Tony Schiavone's in the ring. They play music. Will Ospreay comes down to the ring, and more so than in few words than ever, he was like, "Thank you, Tony Schiavone. People, nobody really knew that I was gonna be here. Surprised a lot of people when I flew out here, but I just wanted to tell you guys what's been going on." And so he was like, for the past couple, again, another wrestler wrestling through the pain. For the past couple of months, I have been wrestling with a neck injury, and I should have been recovering, but I wanted to get us over that goal line. And he's like, I'm proud to say we got the belt back, bro. We got the belt back. And so I'm happy, and I'm so happy that we finished what we have started. But he's like, but because of the Death Riders and because All In, he tried to help Heyman during the match, and the Death Riders attacked him. He said that basically two of his discs are too close to his spine. I'm not thinking wrong, but basically his spine and his discs have been ruptured, and he needs physical therapy. And so, but he was like, "Listen, with the right with the right treatment and the right physical therapy, I'll be back sooner than ever." He said he's hoping for Forbidden Door, which is the end of August. But he's like, but right now, I have to make my leave. Be like, to the Death Riders, when I come back, I'm hunting each and every one of you down, bro. And you can bet on it. Music hits. He goes up the ramp, and thankfully enough, how are you, darling? Thankfully enough, Swerve is on the ramp to give him a hug to support him. The music ramps up. Spray, spray, and they give a good thank you and goodbye. So I'm a little, I don't say perturbed, but kind of, I want to know whose idea this was. More so with this, right? So I am very saddened that Osprey is hurt. I appreciate so much that he fought through the pain because I think we all can agree. Even though I have no bones about it, I know that people were turning on the Moxley reign until Osprey really inserted himself into the storyline, which helped tremendously, right? So I appreciate him seeing it through until the end to actually give it at least a decent ending to the reign, right? Um, Thankfully, he said he doesn't need surgery. It's physical therapy, and he should be back by Forbidden Door, which is the end of August. So my question was, if you think you can get, if you think you can be back for Forbidden Door, what was not to sound callous, but what was the need for this promo? Like more so the promo, like when people do these kind of announcements, they're out for 6 months. They're out for a year. We don't have a time frame of when you can be back. You know what I'm saying? And you're saying Forbidden Door, that's August 28th, where I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm like, maybe if it was me, I might have played it by ear. Maybe I would have. I don't think I would have done an announcement. I would have just let the kayfabe live. Where I'm like, hey, so because the Death Riders took out Osprey, he'll be out indefinitely, and then Forbidden Door comes up, and that's when Osprey reappeared because like Forbidden Door is the end of August. That's August 28th, right? So that's only a month. So like I said, with these types of announcements, you're out for several months, like at least to 6 months. Like right for a month, it's like yeah, but I do take any injury seriously. So we'll see what happens. Like we'll see what happens. Forbidden Door, if I'm not mistaken, is their next premium live pay per view, and we'll see what the story is from him coming back. But your thoughts?
I mean, we agree 100% on this. I love Will Osprey. I have no idea who decided to do this and why. This was for me. This was even though it's Will Osprey, this was like the worst part of the show for me, just because it made zero sense. I just don't understand. Like you're going to be back. You hope to be back in like 3 weeks. Like I mean, that's not that's nothing. I mean, and we probably would barely even notice you were gone. We probably might say, "Oh, we haven't seen Osprey in a minute." By the time it comes back around, but to come down to the ring and announce it, yeah, like you said, it sounds like it made it sound like it was going to be so much more. It deflates the crowd. Um, it takes away from all of the energy for me. And I just don't. I just thought it was bad. Uh, Listen, the things that I always disliked about WWE are some of the things that I think I like about AEW. Of course, I don't know because I'm not backstage, so I have no idea. It's just what I think I know, which is that Tony is much more wrestler friendly, employee friendly than WWE or Vince McMahon ever was. I think Vince McMahon had in his mind, this is what wrestling is. This is what I want to do. This is what sports entertainment is. This is how it's going to be. And I think Tony, because he loves it and has an affinity for these guys in a way that's different than just business oriented. I'm your boss. I think he allows these guys a lot of leeway. And when Will Ospreay comes to him and says, I want to say thank you to the crowd before I go away for a few weeks, he probably says, okay, as opposed to, I think that's not the smartest decision, right?
Right.
Um, I think that that's a lot of what goes on here because, I felt the same way. Yes, I think he's going to be gone for a lot longer. I still felt the same way about the Adam Cole promo at All In. Like, yeah, he's going to be gone a lot longer. It's still not necessary. It brings the energy down. You could tell all that with a small little segment, amongst the broadcasters during the match, right? Or right before the match starts. You can just explain it. So but I think again, it's one of those things that The wrestlers really like it. It's one of those things that I like about AEW in general, which is that they're user friendly or they're wrestler friendly. At the same time, I think at times it can have some sort of a negative impact on the product. And this, I think, was one of those times because someone should have said to Tony or Will, this isn't the right spot or the right time to do this. Like, this doesn't really make any sense. So,
Like
but again, it is what it is.
yeah, so let's play it by ear, and if 2 weeks time you can't make it, then sure, but like yeah, a month we don't this wasn't needed. Sorry to say, this wasn't needed. All right, and so next we have a video package for the new group of Julia, Sky Blue, and Tekla. And so they're together. The creepy chicks are, have formed a union. Who will stand in their way? Who's to say? Yeah. And so then we have a interview with Willow, and Willow was like, you know what? My focus has been all over the place. First it was the Death Riders and Marina, then it was Statlander for numbers of times. It's time for me to get back on track. So she said, Tekla, are your spices tingling? That's me. I'll see you in the ring. And so I love that. That was so cute. So we're gonna get Tekla versus Willow, and I appreciate this. It's like yes, let's find something new for Willow to do, and this was okay. So full scale, Tekla's supposed to be doing this rivalry with Julia with Jamie Hayter, but Jamie got hurt, and so her big push in AEW got lost in the shuffle. So we're trying to figure out what to do with Tekla. I think her being with Julia and Sky Blue should work. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, they're not replacing Willow with Jamie Hayter to hype up Tekla. Because no offense, I don't see no, just no. Like if you're going to, I'm gonna say sacrifice, but use someone to push someone else over, it's because you see a big future. I'm right now. I think Willow is still the bigger star for Tekla, and Tekla, I didn't see her in New Japan. So for me,
CMLL.
Oh, sorry, CMLL. So I don't. So for me, Tekla is not worth sacrificing Willow for. That's just me. But any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, again, this feels like the whole Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Tekla thing feels very kind of thrown together. Like, I thought the idea was that all of a sudden Malachi Black was going to go away and everyone in the House of Black was going to thrive.
Y'all
And
tried it.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We've seen Brody King lose some matches and win some matches. I can't remember the last time I saw Buddy Matthews and Julia Hart's been here and there. So, and hasn't necessarily done a whole lot. And she's still, so, at this point, I don't think any of them are thriving without Malachi Black of the House of Black. And I don't know about her with Sky Blue and Thekla. Like, one of these things is not like the other two. Thekla is really, really, really extremely talented. Like she's an amazing wrestler. And not that Julia Hart isn't a solid, hand and the Sky Blue is what she is. But Thekla's a really amazing wrestler. And I don't this for me, it's one of those make it make sense type of situations. Like I don't understand why these three would be together. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how they benefit each other in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not sure I like the grouping. This being said, I'm here all day, every day, twice on Sunday for Willow versus Tekla because I think that would be an insane rivalry. Tekla is an amazing wrestler, and Willow, is great. So I think the two of them would be amazing together. So I'm very interested in that. I just am not a fan of the new faction. I don't know what it doesn't make sense to me. But
Like we'll see if it serves a purpose. Like if all three of them come out looking better than great right now, yeah, all right, cool. Uh, and then we have a little integration of TBS and AEW. Of course, Darby's not 100% back to wrestle. Why? Because he wants to swim with the sharks. And why not? You climb Mount Everest, you got hit by a bus. So sharks is probably no big freaking deal. But hey, Shark Week. Watch that. Maybe Darby gets eaten. Probably not. He's immune to death. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, my only thought is just, Darby is what he is. I mean, they're getting a lot of mileage out of, insane, extreme Darby Allin. So I
Yes.
guess more power to him. I mean, when was the last time you wrestled?
Not so he appeared on All In. He climbed the mountain, so we're probably looking at definitely 6 months. Yes,
Since the last time he's actually been in the ring and wrestled? Yeah, that's a long
a
time.
match. Yeah,
I mean, it's not one of those things where it's like, what have you done for me lately? But it is like, what have you done for me lately? Like, I haven't forgotten how good Darby Allin is in the ring. I haven't forgotten how, electric he is with the crowd and all those things. But you've been off my TV for all intents and purposes in many respects for 6 months now. And it's like, I just, okay.
and maybe and like I'm not sure what climbing Mount Everest does to your body. So maybe he does need to recharge or something before he does something actual like 10 minutes. Maybe. But
And here's the thing, like, I appreciate doing all these extreme things. And, I guess it is what it is. But for me, it's not wrestling. And I'm here for wrestling. Like, I don't really care that you're climbing Mount Everest. Yeah, that's cool. It's, but I don't really care. I mean, I don't care that you're swimming with sharks. I mean, yeah, it's whatever, but I don't really care. I want to see you wrestle in the ring. That's where I enjoy you. That's what I want to see. So I don't.
understandable. All right, and so we come back, and then you a recap of the whole person kid helping Adam Copeland, and then we get a backstage segment of the Hurt Syndicate talking, and here comes MJF. He's like, "What the frick is happening, bro?" He's like, "I thought y'all were here to help me get back my triple B, my the AEW World Heavyweight Championship." And so MVP was like, "No, we are the Hurt Syndicate. We're in the business of hurting people. So we made a business decision." And so MJF just flopping at the gums. He's just like, "I don't care." He's like, "Y'all supposed to be helping me get this stuff back." And so you can tell that Bobby's getting hyped because you can slowly MVP goes to Bobby and just takes the belt off of Bobby, and Bobby just charges at MVP. He charges at MJF and guts him and just hold him by the throat. He's like, "Listen, we are not your lackeys. We do what we want to do. And as of right now, thumbs down, I want you out of the Hurt Syndicate." He takes his grip off of MJF. Sheldon looks at him, shakes his head, walks away. MVP takes his shades off. He's like, looks at him, walks away, and MJF hits the locker in anger, and it's like, huh? So, like, no offense. So let's recap this whole story. So for the past 2 or 3 months, we have MJF trying to get a part of this group called the Hurt Syndicate, right? We're gonna come together, we're gonna win championships, we're gonna change the landscape of AEW. And all of a sudden, MJF is out of the Hurt Syndicate. What? Honestly, what are we doing? Why? What? None of this sounds right at all. This feels like a very abrupt decision. Hopefully, what's the word? Hopefully, is not permanent, because like this would be a very, very not weird way, but a very wet fart of a way to end this group backstage, and Bobby says, "You're out." Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is very weird. I mean, the fact that MJF doesn't realize that Bobby Lashley is not there to help him win back his Triple B is dumb to begin with. MJF is smarter than that. That you portrayed his character as extremely clever, always a couple steps ahead, and yet here he's extremely behind these guys, which doesn't play well for his character. Yeah, I mean I mean, 2 months of Bobby Lashley giving him thumbs down, finally gave him one thumbs up. It worked for what, a week, 2 weeks, and now he's out, according to Bobby Lashley, and the thumbs down again. I mean, it's listen, it's bad short-term storytelling. I think what this is supposed to be is long-term storytelling. Neither of these guys, MJF or Bobby Lashley, are destined to stay in the spot that they're in at the moment. Bobby Lashley is going to be AEW World Heavyweight Champion or World Champion at some point. And I think there will be a feud with Bobby Lashley and MJF or Bob at some point. That's what they're teasing. That's what they've been teasing. And I think this is supposed to be the laying the foundation for long-term storytelling for when these guys, one of them has the title and they actually do this feud, which I guess is whatever, because people complain about the lack of long-term storytelling in wrestling. So, if that's Tony's ultimate goal and that's what's behind the scenes going on, I guess I'm not terribly mad at that. I just need it to be maybe a little more obvious and make a little more sense. Well, not even too obvious, but you also want it to make sense. Like 1 week after 4 or 5 or 6 weeks of saying no, saying yes, and it worked for 1 week and then saying no again, it doesn't play well. Like the whole thing just doesn't. And if this is really the end of it, then yeah, like you said, like this is a terrible ending to something. It's like I'd almost rather it just be like what WWE does, which is you have the 3-week push and then they just disappear, as opposed to putting a bad bow on it. Like, don't do a terrible ending just to make it worse and double down and make it bad. Like, just pretend like it never happened, as opposed to fucking. So, it is what it is. I don't think he's out. I don't think this is the end of it because it was only the one thumbs down. At the same time, listen, Bobby Lashley is not the greatest talker in the world. He's not the greatest promo, which is why he's with an MJF to begin with. I understand and I liked the Hurt Business in WWE. I still think Bobby Lashley is the main attraction and is a single wrestling superstar. And that's the ultimate goal for a Bobby Lashley. I don't think he needs a Shelton Benjamin. He definitely doesn't need an MJF. He doesn't even need a Cedric Alexander. He really just needs an MVP. You know what I'm saying? Someone to help talk for him and do the promo work for him. That's really all he needs. And then just let him be the dominant singles wrestler that he is. So in that regard, I'm not. Bobby Lashley, for me, his strong suit has never been his acting or his promos, and I do feel like the acting, he's been asked to do too much of that, and it hasn't come off great. Some of it I don't really buy. I didn't think. I mean, yeah, him choking him looked kind of cool at the same time. Like the whole thing was just like, really, is this what we're doing here? Like, and it's not even done well. Like, it's not really even done well. Like, so I don't know. I'm definitely ready for. Already I'm ready for something else, like either this to be better somehow, or I guess let it go if you can't make it better. And at the same time, it feels really, like you said, like very unfulfilling, very unfulfilled. I mean, it leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Like in a nutshell, it feels like we're going to get FTR versus Hurt Syndicate, and we're going to turn Hurt Syndicate babyface. But you don't do it like this so freaking soon and so abruptly. Like this makes no sense. And hopefully,
I'm not sure that you can ever have a company or a faction that, gets paid to be mercenaries that they're baby faces. Like that doesn't work. I mean, that's the antithesis of a baby face or a good guy. I'm not saying you're not going to try to do it. I'm not saying Tony Khan might not try to do it. I'm just saying, like, it feels totally contradictory. I mean, you can't it's like having the Dark Order be a comedy group. Like, it's like the two things don't equal out. It's like either you're the Dark Order or you're a comedy group. Either you're the bad guys and the mean guys that hurt people for money, or you're the good guys. You can't be the good guys that hurt people for money. Like, that doesn't, good people, good guys don't hurt people for money.
The closest thing to that is the APA. Like, I might went to APA, but that they're the only ones who did it, and they never, and so
they were tweeners more than good guys, right? I mean,
I don't see Hurt Syndicate being APA. That was a very unique group.
Yeah, for sure. So it's weird to me to think of them as a baby face, but we'll have to see what ends up happening.
Yeah. All right, and then we have our women's match of the night where we have Athena versus Billy Starks with sorry, Billy Starks versus Tony Storm. Tony Storm. And this was a great match. Billy Stark has grown through leaps and bounds, being with Athena. We have Athena in the balcony looking at her minion take on the women's heavyweight champion. And this was, like I said, it was a great match. You could not tell that Billy, even though Billy, Billy's doing this since she was a teenager, but she now she doesn't look as rookie going against a Tony Storm. I'll say that. So yeah, great bout. A lot of near falls. I love the story of, you can tell in the ring that Billy Starks was like, okay, the point is to hurt Tony Storm, but at the end she was like, no 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 no,
I can win. I can win.
I want to win and get this
I want to
title back.
win.
So like she was trying to roll her up. She was trying to pin her, like, it didn't work though, because here comes Tony Storm taking advantage. She gets her with the chicken wing and she has to tap out. I love that, where she was like, no, like, wait, hold on, wait, bump this mission statement. I want to get my championship match. But yeah, Tony Storm wins, but Billy gets the heavyweight championship and knocks out Tony Storm, and Athena looks pleased with that. I'm gonna stop right there because the post match is another thing. Any thoughts on the match?
No, I thought this came out really well. I mean, I thought Billy Starks held her own. Her evolution has been good. At some point, I'm happy to see her break away from Athena too and start to kind of, create her own lane. But I think it's been really good for her. This has been one of those situations where a pairing I think has been really good for Billy Starks.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to see that. I thought she looked good in this match. She's a solid wrestler and has been for a while, but you can definitely see the element or the evolution. And I enjoy this. Tony Storm is a solid wrestler, as she is your women's world champion. She should be. And she doesn't have bad matches at this point. So no, I thought the match was great. I thought it all came off really well. I did love the dynamic of, like you said, starting out with, oh, you have your mission, and then at one point it was like, oh, I can win this, and I have you could tell Athena
Right?
wasn't necessarily happy because she was like, what do you mean?
Like, no, no, no,
Like,
no, 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 no.
you're supposed to just be beating her up, like, but Billy, and at different times if you paid attention at all to Athena and Billy Starks, there have been moments where we've had little rubs and where it was like, was this going to be kind of maybe the moment where there's something, and they've been breeding that dissension all along. And Billy, this might be another one of those moments where now she's got to go answer to Athena. Yeah, ultimately she hit Tony with the belt, which does help Athena to a certain extent, but she didn't necessarily carry out the mission exactly as she's supposed to. So,
Right.
what's that going to look like when the two of them are alone together? So, I mean, I'm here for all of that. I think that the minion, the minions, and Athena with her minions has been great. I love that ongoing storyline.
Yep.
Um, and so I mean, I'm happy for Billy Starks. I thought the match was a lot of fun, and the post match stuff, which we'll talk about in just a minute, I thought was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, Billy Stark hit her with the belt, and she motioning Athena to come down, and so the contract is more so like Money in the Bank, where she can cash in at any time. So Athena comes through the crowd. She takes off her belt. She's looking at the contract. She's like, "Nope, we're gonna hurt you a little bit more." She rams Tony Storm's head into the stairs like multiple times. She hits her with did she hit her with a chair? No, she keeps beating her up, and then when she finally is ready to sign the contract, here comes Osprey's wife. What's her name? So I can stop calling her
Like
this.
Windsor,
Blake Windsor comes down because
Alex Windsor,
yeah, who?
Alex Windsor.
Alice Windsor, whatever. Alice Windsor comes down to continue the feud between Athena and herself. She takes out Billy while making her way to the ring. Uh, Athena leaves the ring and after a few bouts, and Alex helps Tony Storm up. They, thankfully the contract didn't get cashed in, so Tony Storm is still your champion, and that's the end of the segment. What do you think about the aftermath and Alex Windsor's as an addition to this? I mean, she does need Tony does need a little helping hand, so it won't be bad.
And it makes sense because they just had the match at Supercard of Honor. I don't watch enough Ring of Honor to know how Alex Windsor's been doing on Ring of Honor and how she necessarily earned the shot. But she had the shot at Supercard of Honor, and the match was solid. So I understand why she's here in that spot. She is having a Ring of Honor, I guess, kind of feud with Athena at the moment, and she wants that title. Here's my question. My question is, does Athena end up losing the belt to Alex Windsor to either then win the belt from Tony Storm or to lose and not have no belt and be in a little bit of a downward spiral? Like I'm not totally sure. I'm not sure I see the total path of where this is going, which I kind of like because often it feels like it's very predictable. So I'm not totally sure what I see happening here. I mean, I'd kind of be surprised at this point if Alex Windsor is the one to dethrone Athena. At the same time, it's going to happen at some point, right? And
Right.
if you think that this is a spot where maybe Athena actually beats Tony Storm, and you wonder, do we want to have her have both the Ring of Honor championship and the AEW championship? Maybe she drops the Ring of Honor title to an Alex Windsor. It would seem weird to me for her to lose the Ring of Honor championship to an Alex Windsor to then turn around and beat Tony Storm for the AEW Women's Championship, because right now it feels like Tony Storm should be, head and shoulders above Alex Windsor. And if you can't beat Alex Windsor to retain your Ring of Honor championship, you probably shouldn't be beating Tony Storm to win the bigger title. So it almost feels like you've got to have her still be Ring of Honor champion, depending on who she loses it to, when she wins the AEW World Championship, especially if she's going to be the one beating Tony Storm here at Forbidden Door. I know there's so many balls in the air right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm there's a lot of questions. I'm very interested to see what they ultimately do with this. Because I do think that it's very possible that Athena does beat Tony Storm. And I think that because I think ultimately Athena and Mercedes is where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes sense to me. We just don't know that they're going to have her hold both titles. And if she doesn't, who does she lose the Ring of Honor title to? It's going to be someone worthy. I mean, I guess it could be a situation of, oh, now she has the women's the AEW Women's World Championship, so she cares less about the Ring of Honor Women's Championship and doesn't, overlooks Alex Windsor in their next match and takes it for granted and ends up losing somehow in a fluke. Whatever. I mean, maybe I don't know, but I'm not sure how to take that belt off of her and who to put it on in Ring of Honor that wouldn't make her look weak than to go beat Tony Storm if that's the goal. She's going to lose to Tony Storm, then that's fine. She can lose to Tony Storm and to Alex Windsor and just be in a spiral. That I'm not necessarily here for that, but I can see that. I don't know. Yeah, just a lot of balls in the air. Very interesting stuff.
No, I don't think like Ring of Honor is Athena's show, point blank, period. So I think I think it's Athena's choice to who she drops the belt to. When it comes to Tony Storm, I would love for it to be Athena. I really like as of right now in this day and age, I think Athena's probably the only one worthy enough to beat Tony Storm for that belt. Now the question is it too soon? Because even though we know about Athena and we love Athena, I don't think the regular Dynamite viewing audience know who Athena is just yet for you to drop the belt to her. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
thankfully the contract is not she can do it at any time. I don't think she should do it at Forbidden Door. I think it should be later
That's
on.
right. It's an anytime thing. That's right. I forgot it's not just at Forbidden Door. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's at any time. But like the only thing is that Forbidden Door is coming in close. So hopefully maybe they'll just do a tag team match of Alex Windsor and Tony Storm versus Athena and Billy at Forbidden Door, and then we'll do something else later for the belt. But I definitely see Athena being the one taking down Tony Storm for the belt.
Well, the same thing as I say with Money in the Bank. You can't let her hold that thing too long and let it become too convoluted and cold. So you want to do something sooner than later. But yeah, it's got to be the right thing too. So
The right time, everything. All right. So our next match, we have Swerve versus Hechicero, which is I gonna say out of nowhere, but it is like, oh, okay, we need a match. Hey, are you available? Sure, let's go get it. And this was a great match. Someone said it, and I think they're true. So Forbidden Doors coming. I think we will have some more CMLL alignment this year, and that's probably why they're doing this match. Like, okay, this is what this Forbidden Door is going to be. It's not going to be New Japan. It's probably going to be more CMLL. So here are the people here, and they're great wrestlers. Like right now, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen one CMLL person on AEW Dynamite and be like, no, they're all great wrestlers. This was a great match. I was feeling it, and I'm not sure how big Hechicero is on the CMLL card, but evidently, I guess he's big enough where they decided that this match Swerve should not be beating Hechicero, because the ending was that Lance Archer came in to help out Hechicero. Boo, 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 boo. So Hechicero and Lance Archer were beating him up, and then here comes Brody King and Bandito to help out. They run off Lance Archer and Hechicero, and here comes Okada with a chair and with that dastardly smile, because you are unhinged. I'm not sure if I hate it. So he's beating up Swerve, and he gets the upper hand before he can does the pile driver. Swerve battles out, gives a headbutt, and beats up, and the headbutt causes Okada to land on the chair. Swerve puts the chair around Okada's neck. He's gonna do the last call, but Okada got out of the ring just in time. So this is definitely the next rivalry between Swerve. So like Swerve and Okada is happening. It's a matter of when. I'm not sure. That's like you can put it over Forbidden Door if you want to. I don't feel like that's a Forbidden Door match, the 1-on-1 per se. Maybe like have tag team and you have team partners for both people. But what do you think? What do you think about the match between Hechicero and Swerve and the aftermath?
Swerve is Swerve, and Swerve's amazing. Hechicero is growing on me. I wasn't very familiar with him before. He started making his debut before he made his debut on AEW, but he's a very solid wrestler. As you said, all the Mexican wrestlers that they've had come up from CMLL have been very solid. I haven't seen anyone where I was like, ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And it's great to see him getting a match against a guy like Swerve, because you get to see him show how good he can actually be. I was a little kind of surprised by the DQ, but then when you think about the fact that it's the Callis family and Hechicero is a member of the Callis family, I guess it shouldn't really surprise you too much. It's kind of on brand for them. I don't know if it was done to protect Hechicero or to protect Swerve or whatever it was. Indirectly, it does protect Hechicero because he doesn't take the loss, and it protects Swerve because the match is over and Swerve still hasn't taken a loss, and the DQ is on their side. So it is what it is. As far as records go and the win-loss goes, I'm just happy to see it just furthers the Don Callis Swerve rivalry. Callis family is, because they have 17,000 people. They have a feud with everybody. So this furthers their feud with Swerve Strickland. At some point, there's got to be the Callis family. I don't know. We're gonna have to do something again, another War Games type of situation where someone actually takes out the Callis family.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like, but it's going to have to happen at some point. But no, I really enjoyed this match. The DQ does make some sense. I get to see Lance Archer, which is cool. So I enjoyed this. I thought it was fun.
And what do you think of the Okada and Swerve rivalry? Like right now, I don't mind it. I actually think it's a nice spot for both of these people. What do you think?
I backtracked a little. What I said to CM was I had to correct myself. I don't know Okada personally, and I don't know anything about the man personally. So for me to say that he doesn't give effort is an unfair statement to say. So what I did was I backtracked a little. What I'm going to say is that my observation of him is that he wrestles a very slow, methodical, very Randy Orton-esque, very kind of Gunther-esque type of case. And I'm not a big fan of that. For me, it feels like the effort isn't always there on all of their parts sometimes. And I think it's just a symptom of that very slow, plodding, methodical way that I just am not a fan of. So I'll be fair. So in that regard, I don't know if he's giving effort or he isn't. You know, Swerve versus Okada. Okada doesn't move the needle for me a whole lot with anybody. I mean, with Swerve, yes, it's fine. Swerve has great matches, and Okada, is a solid, wrestler. I can appreciate, that he's good in the ring. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to see it play out. On one end, yes, Swerve. I love Swerve, and I'm here for everything he does. I feel like he's kind of Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. Okada just doesn't do it for me. So I'm kind of, it's very hot and cold in that regard.
Understandable. All right. So next up, we have a backstage promo with Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. They do a recap of what happened in the last week, where Ricochet beat A.R. Fox and the Gates of Agony beat the other three teams to get $200,000. And of course, they're backstage. They're all vested up with dress pants on and a dress vest, and they're chopping it up. And they're like, ah, ha, ha. So we showed everybody who that we're the best in town, and it's like we got the $200, and we're looking like new money. But now it's time to focus on gold. Now it's time to focus on letting people know that we're going to demand respect, or you're going to fear us. And that, Lexi, is a promise. And they're just laughing, they're looking fly. It was a nice little promo. A nice little iteration of this is the new faction in town. Hopefully they'll get the respect that they deserve, because I do have great, I do have not great expectations, but I think they should be able to do something. Like ROH trios champions, stuff like something. They don't let them fall by the wayside. I hope. Any thoughts on this little thing?
I mean, this is fine. I mean, finally, at least Ricochet's pulled the trigger and gotten somebody. And the Gates of Agony are getting a chance to kind of show some more personality and stuff. In the past, the stuff that they've done, they've been very kind of buttoned up and quiet. Now they're actually kind of showing some personality and some life, which I like. And they both have much more personality and much more charisma than I thought that they did. Just because in the past, I think they've been told to kind of keep quiet and just look tough, and now they're actually allowed to kind of show their personality, and I like them. So no, I'm here for it. It'll be interesting to see what they ultimately do. Ring of Honor trios champions feels a little down the rung to me for Ricochet, especially the way you had presented him. But I guess something is something for a minute. It feels kind of like the wheelhouse for Gates of Agony as they've been booked, but at the same time, like I'm ready for them. They should be main event, or they should be AEW's trios champion or something. I mean, I understand those are held, by the ops at the moment, but they should maybe be wrestling them. I mean, I could. They need to be wrestling the main. They need to be wrestling for the trios, the AEW's trios championships, if that's where they're going to go with it. I think the Ring of Honor feels a little too. I don't know for them. Just because of the way they push Ricochet and where I would like Gates of Agony to ultimately be. Now, that being said, I don't remember at any point in time, I know that I think they announced the tournament for number one contender for the World Tag Team Championships, but I don't remember them putting out a bracket at all or seeing a bracket graphic at all. So I don't know who all is in it. I'm assuming the Gates of Agony would be in any tag team tournament for a number one contendership, but I don't know if they are great. If they aren't, they should be. So yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. These guys together are fun so far. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Interested is the word. All right, and so here comes MJF, looking like he looks very nice for someone who just got hemmed up in the back, but business is business, and he comes into the ring. He says, "Cut my music, cut my."
Did you freeze?
Need a Hurt Syndicate to get back.
You froze you froze on the restream
Am I
for a
back?
second. It looked like. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
All right, cool. But yeah, he was like, listen, I don't need a Hurt Syndicate to get back my trios champion, but sorry, my AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And hey man, you're kind of a coward. Like to say you're not gonna fight me unless I sign this contract. What kind of champion are you? And so, but here comes Mark Briscoe. And so I love, he was like, listen, like your kosher pickle, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. And so he's like, listen, you little you stole my, you like, at All In during the Casino Battle Royal, you stole my spot, and you couldn't face me like a man. I couldn't handle you like I wanted to, and you know that contract should be mine. And in true MJF fashion, I'm not sure, like, he's a great actor, because how did he get this? How did he get this accent down? And so he starts imitating Mark Briscoe. You should have won them all. You should have won that. I'm like, shut up! I can't stand you. And so and so he's like, listen here, Mark. If you're supposed to win the match, you would have won the match. I'm here with this contract and you're not, because when the lights are bright, you just can't get the job done. And of course, I love the fans. The fans are like, shut the F up. And of course, and then MJF keeps downplaying Mark Briscoe, saying that even your biggest fans don't think you're a top guy. And people, and like, let's face it, no one will respect you as much as they respected your brother Jay. And it's like, that's when Mark lost it and went down the ring and went to attack him. So evidently, not sure where this rivalry is gonna go, but it's not over with. I'm not mad at it. It feels like, I'm not sure when Will Ospreay told them that he was hurt and he need time off, right? But it does feel like with him gone, they kind of had to spin other plates. They had to move other plates around. You know what I'm saying? It feels like, and I will talk about it more, that maybe the next stages would have been Ospreay versus MJF, but right now we can't do that. So let's continue with MJF and Mark Briscoe. But I have no qualms about. But I do need Mark Briscoe to win. If we're gonna make this a rivalry, can he win one of these matches, please and thank you? But it was a cool segment. Any thoughts?
Loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, Mark Briscoe is growing on me. I was pretty critical of the Briscoe brothers, when they first came to AEW. There's certain things I don't do well, and the Confederate flag is one of them. And I understand that it has different meanings for different people. I don't care what the meaning is for you. The meaning for me is that it's a negative thing. So, and when I see people with it, I'm already turned off. So, in that regard, I had to come a long way to even just want to watch the Briscoes to a certain extent. And so that being said, I absolutely love Mark Briscoe at this moment. He's growing on me. I think these two together have great chemistry. I think the promo battles have been great. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that MJF was going to um, kind of dominate a little bit, but Mark Briscoe has very much held his own. He hasn't shown any kind of gaffes or flops or misspeaking during the promos. He's hit every part. He's hit every mark. He's talked as much shit. He's come up with great jokes, and he's played that role great. I thought, I'm very interested in where this ultimately goes, and I think it's great that Mark Briscoe. It feels like this is one of those times where Mark Briscoe's really getting a positive rub from being in a program with MJN,
Yes.
with a top guy. It feels like this is very much elevating Mark Briscoe, which I
Yeah.
really, really like, and I'm here for that. So,
Yeah, me too.
so yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought the segment was very good.
Yeah, I can't wait. And hopefully you're right that this elevates Mark Briscoe into a higher plane on in AEW.
I
So
do think I'm going to say this, and this is a hot take because wrestling's been around for a long time, and he's still, for all intents and purposes, is in his infancy, as far as wrestling years go on our TV. I'm going to say this now. I think Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the single greatest heel I have ever seen in wrestling. The man just he has that perfect swarminess all the time. He has that perfect edge all the time. You want him to be he's he's articulate enough that you want him to be more clever in some of his hitting those points, but what makes him so great is he never passes up the low-hanging fruit because it's so perfect. So, he could go better, but he doesn't have to because he stays low. That's where MJF is. And he's so good at being despicable. I mean, there's been a lot of heels, over my time of watching wrestling, and I can't think of anybody that I've disliked more. Okay, let me rephrase that. I disliked Mr. McMahon more, but in a different way. For me, that was go away heat because the whole kiss my ass stuff and all that, like that's go away heat for me. This is the perfect amount of I love to hate you at the right level. Like there's no go away heat for me from MJF. He's the perfect slimy heel. For me, he's the best ever to do it.
I can't give him that just yet. Listen, I love my nostalgia. I love my old people. So I can't give it to him just yet. But he's definitely one of the top 5. I can give him that. I give him that right now. He's definitely top 5. We'll see what down the road if he gets better. I think he does get better. But yeah, I'm not. It's arguable about that. It's arguable, that statement. All right, and so Mark Briscoe stays in the ring because it is time for our main event. We're getting Mark Briscoe versus Claudio Castagnoli. I love this because it feels like it's been a minute. We were just talking about this. It's been a minute since we've seen Castagnoli do a singles match by himself. It's the main event, so let's get it. And this was like a flash from the past in our classic ROH. And I didn't watch ROH, so I don't know, but I feel like the ROH guys have a different kind of relationship where when they get in the ring, you can kind of tell they know each other. So they lock up, and you can tell like it's not a wrestling grappling flippy flip. No, it's a brawl out. So like you see that Mark Briscoe just get a chest chop to Claudio. Claudio like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. I'm like, and then you see him get hyped up. You get a chest chop to him. And it's just like, yep, we already know what the mission statement is on this match, and I'm here for it. And so yeah, the ground and pound was for the whole freaking match, and it was so freaking good. And like you said, Mark Briscoe, it's never a time where Mark Briscoe's in a situation in a match where I feel like he's over his head. That is just the brilliance of Mark Briscoe. Where Mark Briscoe, he just comes with the energy every freaking time. And this was no different. Where like everything he did, yeah, it was like based on suicide dives or any or just doing the froggy bow. He is all intensity, and you never count him out as he should win this match. So, but as to say, they're trading bout for bout, and it is awesome. And for one split second, Mark Briscoe has both of Claudio's legs. 1, 2, 3. Mark Briscoe beats Claudio Castagnoli in the main event of AEW. I am happily and wonderfully surprised. I am like I love it sucks because I love Claudio too. I love Claudio too. I want the best for both of these people. But if I had to choose, Claudio's already had some wins. I need Mark Briscoe to get one win, especially if you're going to get MJF. So I am happily. I love this. Any thoughts on the match?
Oh, I thought this came off perfect. I mean, other than the fact that Claudio has to take a loss, I thought it came off perfect. But it's a great win for Mark Briscoe. I'm never a huge fan of the roll-up, but I thought it worked well here. I thought it came off okay. Claudio sold it well, and Briscoe did it well. The match itself, I thought was very good. Briscoe, like you said, is just never ending. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going. Like he never stops, and the intensity never lessens, and I like that. Like Claudio is not slow and plodding, but he's cerebral and calculated, And so at times, sometimes his matches can appear a little slow, but with a guy like Briscoe offset that and the intensity. And man, Briscoe's amazing at just being able to tell a story with his
Yeah.
expressions, and he's got that down 1,000%. Like he's great with the in-ring storytelling, the body language, the facial expressions, all those things that are required to make the storylines of the matches play.
Yeah.
I understand why Claudio takes the loss here. I always, 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 always want more for Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah.
I think Claudio Castagnoli should be AEW World Champion at some point. So I always want more for him, but I'm also very excited that Mark Briscoe got the win here. It plays great for the storyline. And yeah, if you want me to have any, I mean, obviously, Mark Briscoe is slowly creating himself and making himself, creating a niche for himself as the ultimate underdog. So you can never count him out. But if you really truly want me to believe that he could beat MJF one-on-one, he's got to beat a couple people, and beating
Yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli is a good start along the way, because Claudio is a beast, and to beat Claudio, you got to bring it. So if you can beat Claudio, in my mind, you have a much better chance of being believable to be someone that can beat MJF. So in that regard, yeah, no, I'm here for that. I thought it came off very good, and I'm glad that Mark Briscoe got the win.
Right? And so it was a quick win, but you're dealing with someone from the Death Riders. So here comes the other riders to help out, beat you behind because you beat them, and uh, they here. And so, but don't worry, never fear, because as soon as Moxley comes out to help out with the beatdown, here comes Hangman Adam Page. And of course, before this, Moxley is just going back crack crazy in the mic, talking about this is what happens when people become too doggone comfortable. But here, but like, Heyman's like, you don't sit your crazy behind up. And so he was like, listen, you asked for a death match. I don't believe you wanted that. In case in point, I won the belt. But when you say that you don't believe that I can be this champion day in and day out, I do believe you believe that. So how about this, John? Let's do it. I'll do a rematch, but next week, 7 days. Let's see what kind of person you are, and see if you can handle this match and the pressure. And so in 7 days, we're going to get the rematch of Moxley versus Hangman. I like it, and here's why. Right. So again, I think that the absence of Osprey kind of threw something. Not say totally out of whack, but the timeline kind of got what's the word? Got interrupted on what was going to happen after All In. So I think they're like, you know what, to give Osprey some time to come back. Let's run this back. It won't be on it won't be on pay-per-view. It will be on what's the face? It'll be on Dynamite. And Heyman had the what you call it? The stipulation of you leave everyone in the back. I'll leave everyone in the back. And let's finally have this last match. And so I think, yeah, they're gonna do this match. I think this will be truly the end of their rivalry. I don't think Moxley's winning. For people who are scared, I don't think Moxley's winning. I think Osprey got hurt and the timeline got a little interrupted. So to give some space between my Hangman's next official rivalry, we're doing this. We're only doing it on Dynamite to just cut the time in half to give some space to the next couple of rivalries before Heyman's supposed to have, and it'll be over. But I love that it's on Dynamite. It should be a great official ending to this feud. That's the end of the show, and this show did what it needed to do. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed. It feels very unoriginal as far as running this back a week later. It feels like, I mean, yeah, I guess, in theory, the biggest stipulation you could possibly give John Moxley is not being able to have anybody else help him. But the reality is that, John Moxley believes he's the greatest wrestler on the planet. A lot of people believe he's the greatest wrestler on the planet. In theory, he shouldn't need help from anybody to ever win a match. So in theory, he should be just as comfortable without anybody around as he is with his Death Riders around. So otherwise, it doesn't play into that John Moxley character the right way for me. He's not the kind of guy that needs a crutch. He'll use the crutch, but he sure doesn't need it. So in that regard, it shouldn't be a big deal for him to just have to go out there and do what he does alone. That being said, obviously the Death Riders have been a huge part of helping him hold on, or well, we're a big part of helping him hold on to that title, and have been a big part of everything that he does, especially Marina Shafir. I'm I don't know that I agree that I think that the next step was Osprey versus Hangman. I don't know that, and now that Osprey's injured for 3 weeks, that we have to do a complete audible, and that the best audible we can come up with is Moxley versus Hangman a second time. I mean, I don't. That to me, I don't know. That doesn't. I'm not sure. Like for me, there were more natural opponents for Hangman and feuds than Osprey to begin with, i.e., Swerve Strickland. I understand they're friendly now, but I mean, these two are just. I mean, this is the everlasting. I mean, this is his nemesis. This is his number one. I mean, the dude burned down his house. The other dude, you know what I mean, was in his house with his baby. Like, I mean, those things aren't forgiven or forgotten, right? So, like, for me, and Swerve wants that title back. The natural step for me would be a Swerve Hangman thing. And I know that people are probably tired of that, but that seems to be storytelling wise the natural thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure that I saw how Osprey necessarily his injury affects it all that much. But again, I'm not backstage and I understand what you're saying. So maybe I'm just not seeing it the right way. But again,
if this was for a pay-per-view, I would have had more qualms. Like, oh my god, this is at what's the next pay-per-view? Like Forbidden Door, we're doing freaking
Right.
Moxley versus Hangman. This is stupid, but we're doing it next week. So, like I said, I think it just altered the timeline, and they're just giving timeline wise more room for Osprey versus Hangman. In my mind, the end of Hangman's reign should it really is a flip of a coin if it should be either Osprey or Swerve. So, but until then, you should let them not touch until we do that match. So this is the first of the rivalry. The beginning of his reign is like, yeah, they shouldn't touch just yet. His and fourth is Hangman. It's Swerve versus Okada, which I totally understand. So that's why I'm like, okay, I see where we're going with this. Like one last little bout, and hopefully the timeline won't get interrupted anymore.
I mean, the only way this makes sense is if Hangman wins. I mean, if Moxley wins again, then I have no idea what we're doing. I mean, it only makes sense if Hangman wins. So, and then then again, I mean, you have to come up with some way storytelling wise to beat John Moxley twice, right? I mean, you just beat him 7 days ago I mean, it's okay. It's arguable whether the Texas Death Match is truly John Moxley's match or Hangman Page's match, but in a match that Moxley is extremely comfortable in and has been one of his babies. You already beat him once. Now you're going to beat him 7 days later in a one-on-one with no one around. I mean, you gotta make me believe that twice. I mean, this is John Moxley still. You know what I'm saying? So to lose twice to the same guy in 7 days, you got to show me something on Dynamite. And so in that regard, but he still has to lose. Like otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Otherwise, why have Page win at All In just to have him lose it again a week later or 2 weeks later on a Dynamite? Like that doesn't make any sense. So the only way it makes sense is if Moxley loses, and then you have to beat Moxley twice in 7 days or in 14 days, whatever this is. And that's a lot. That's a big ask. So we'll see how they do this. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I hope they haven't backed themselves into a corner.
No, I have a qualm because people can say what you call it, that All In, that was a death match. It was a lot of interference. So now it's 1-1. So it's like, okay, that's the difference enough for me to believe that Moxley got beat twice.
Well, I mean, I guess now you just have to believe that Hangman Page is a better wrestler than Moxley next Wednesday on Dynamite, because Moxley has been the best wrestler in AEW for a long time, right? Or a lot of people think of him that way, or one of the best, right? So, I mean,
one of the best, yes.
It's like, I mean, there are certain guys that it's hard to pitch losing too much, and the way you do it, you have to do it the right way. And Moxley is definitely one of those guys. And for him to take 2 losses back to back to the same guy, and the second one in what, yeah, the death match is his wheelhouse and all those things, but in a singles match where it's literally just Hangman versus Moxley, you're going to have Hangman actually show he's the better wrestler, the better fighter, the better brawler. I mean, that's a tough, that's a big fence to climb. So Moxley has made his name well before the BCC or the Death Riders, by showing that he didn't need anybody. So it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, asking for Moxley alone in a one-on-one match is not necessarily the stipulation I would be asking for if I was Hangman Page. I'm not sure what stipulation I would have asked for, but I'm not sure that was it. I mean, Moxley one-on-one just is extremely formidable. So that's a big ask. I mean, and for Tony Khan and them to come up with a way for him to lose one-on-one, it's gonna be interesting to see how they work that out, choreograph wise and storytelling wise. So I'm very interested to see that match. That match for me is going to be very telling, I think, for kind of where Jon Moxley goes and what the reign of Hangman Page looks like. So I'm very interested to see what this second match looks like. I'm not necessarily overly excited about it, but now that it's on paper and it's going to happen, I'm interested to see, because I think it's going to have a big impact on kind of the direction of AEW as a company in general. So.
No, I agree. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I think it's gonna be a great match next week.
All right. I thought this was better. I didn't like the Osprey stuff, but I did think this was a little bit better than Collision overall. So if Collision was a C plus, I'll give this a B minus. I think it was right to B, D minus. So I'll go B minus. It was one level above Collision. I don't think it was 2. I think there were some things that I thought were very questionable, so I'm not going to give it 2 steps above, but I'll give it a B minus.
I'm with you. I'm going with solid B, like, because the matches were great. The matches were superb, and it was a storyline within the whole. It was between the whole show. It was actually a storyline thread from beginning to end. So I love that. So yeah, a solid B. Like, agreed. The Osprey thing was not needed. And the Hurt Syndicate thing with MJF was like, what? Like that was like what? But besides that, everything got tied up in a nice little bow. So solid B. Yeah.
I think we should be, and we are. I mean, we're building towards Forbidden Door, but it's 3 weeks away. We need a little bit more. It needs to be ramped up quite a bit more for the matches that are actually happening in Forbidden Door. Although, to be fair, Forbidden Door has always been kind of one of those one-off pay-per-views where, because they kind of stick random people together, there isn't a whole lot of build a lot of times, because it's more just like these are dream match situations as opposed to like these are actual storylines that intersect with each other. So I guess you can get away with a little bit less, leading up to a little less build up to, but yeah. So, all right. So AEW Dynamite is this week's with a B from Anika and a B minus from me, and a C plus for Collision from both of us. So, that being said, both shows were solid. If you haven't watched them, go back and watch them. If you're an AEW fan, they're good shows, so they're worth watching. And AEW does do a good job of stringing storylines together between Dynamite and Collision. They're doing a better job and stringing them even just along for time. So, if you want to continue to stay up, you want to pay attention, you want to watch the shows to understand what's going on. It's to just watch the pay-per-views would be difficult, right? Like you wouldn't understand necessarily what's going on. So you do need to watch the weekly shows to follow. So if you haven't checked them out, go back and check them out. In the meantime, we've been talking to you for a long time, so we will do some house cleaning and get up out of here.
Yes.
On Tuesday nights, join us every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, for the cookout, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. Join us on Friday nights, where Nika and Sammy Joe watch Friday Night SmackDown in real time, giving you their real time reaction starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday mornings, which are with us here. Now for the winner's circle, it's me and Anika, usually Sammy Joe, although it's been a minute since he's been here. Review AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision from the week before and grade each show and declare a winner. This week's winner was AEW Dynamite by a small margin. If you want to, or you can check us out, you can scan this QR code. That little horsey QR code will take you to Linktree. From Linktree, you can get to all of our social media from one location, or you can just go check us out on all of these social media platforms. Anywhere we're at, we love to hear from you, interact with you. The best part of Workhorse Wrestling Network is the people that we interact with. So love to hear from you guys on any platform that you want to interact with us. If you don't have time to watch the Cookout podcast, or you watch it and then want to listen to it, however you want to. If you want to listen to it at any point in time, you can go out and check out the audio version of the Cookout podcast on these podcast platforms, the ones you see on the screen there. So please make sure and check that out. Unless you got anything else to say, we can cut out these lights and get up out of here. Until next time, peace.
Bye.